unite, feeling the passion igniting the light. Through highs and lows, we'll stand as one. A legacy, a tale that's just begun. Together we roar, together we roar. Detroit Lions will rise, with a heart full of dreams and the fire in our eyes. From the past to the future, we'll claim our road. In the home of the brave, we'll proudly have grown. So let's lift our voices, let's turn it up loud. For the love of the Lions, we'll always be proud.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
Rise and Grind Morning Show is the best podcast in the world. Amik Robinson.
Eric, it's Tuesday. Are we ready to rise and grind, man? It's Rise and Grind Morning Show. We're going to get to these Detroit Lions and Packers today. A lot going on behind the scenes for the Detroit Lions. Some shots being fired from the New York Giants. And we've got some players that need to get up by tomorrow. So there's a lot to talk about, man. How are you?
Yeah, really good. I want to start the show with something a little different today.
Okay,
so
what's that?
I went back and I looked at my Facebook memories from 9 years ago. Well, it's actually 10 years ago. So this is the 2014-2015 season. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I made a Facebook post on November 24th. Since 2008, 8 NFL teams have trailed in the fourth quarter in each of their first 11 games of a season. The other 7 teams were 4-73 through 11 games. That's a .052 winning percentage. But the Detroit Lions are 7-4 at .636. Just let that sink in. And that was my Facebook post from that many years ago. And we ended up going to the playoffs with one heck of a defense, and we lost. Okay. That was with Matt Stafford. And I just want to remind Lions fans that we used to go through heart attack games every single week. Every week. We trailed in the fourth quarter of every game, and we still made the playoffs. So all these people that are losing hope and jumping ship just because we had one struggling game against the Giants, man, the Giants are better than everyone's giving them credit for. They're better than I gave them credit for. And I just want people to remember, we've been through it before. This is easy, man. This is only one game trailing in the fourth quarter. This isn't every game for 11 games in a row. So we got it easy this year. Just remember where we came from, and let's go Lions.
A lot of panic out there. And a lot of people spewing a bunch of crap. So on social media, on Twitter last night, there was a video by the Ticket.
Yep, I saw that.
And it was Mike Valenti. And here let me just play the audio through. I don't know if it'll pick up through my mic or not, but
yeah, it should.
Let me play the audio real quick. I should have just brought it in, but I didn't even think about it. Let me play what Stoney said or Valenti said, because what's crazy is I don't know when he said all this, but I saw it late last night and I'm like, God damn, that sounds it sounds exactly like what I said yesterday morning. Exactly.
Except for he's catching a bunch of crap.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, he's got, hundreds of thousands of listeners, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is people are giving him crap because they're calling him a Michigan State Spartan fan. And this is, this is Spartan radio. Nobody cares about 97.1 The Ticket, yada, yada, yada.
Well, this is Spartan Podcast. Come on.
Yeah, this isn't Spartan Podcast either.
We hate on JJ.
Look, JJ sucks.
He does.
Okay, he just
He
sucks.
does.
I'm
He's
sorry.
the worst. He's the 500 and what did they say? 586th best qualifying quarterback since the year 2000.
Look, and doesn't I know my audio keeps dipping for some
There's,
reason.
there's only been one worse quarterback through this many games, and I'll give you one guess on who it is.
Joey Harrington.
Wrong. Jamarcus Russell.
Oh yeah, he didn't pan out, did he? Check your audio real quick because you sound distorted, and I was going way low.
I'm at 80.
Yeah, something's not right. So you just sound really distorted. But anyway,
Okay.
sorry. So he says all this crap yesterday about Aiden, and he's not lying. Like it's backed by stats, and we're gonna get into what the Giants lineman Illuminor said about Aiden too, and then we're gonna hear what Aiden had to say about that, which he says that he didn't listen to it. He heard it from some people, yada yada yada. I get sick of. I watched the tape, by the way. I get sick of people just not waking up and smelling the coffee and realizing that maybe these players are propped up because it's a business. Remember me saying that about a month ago? The reason why they're going to oversell you on things, and it's uncanny. What I said yesterday, I even said about the 6 pressures in the fourth quarter. I said all that. And this dude says the same shit. So it's kind of weird. I don't talk to him, don't know him. I think his show's hours after mine. So it's kind of weird that he's saying this stuff hours after me. Whether he listened to this, I doubt, or he just had the same idea. Means that people that pay attention to the stats and pay attention to the game and pay attention to the film and pay attention to what's really going on, they're not wrong. You may not like it. You may not agree with it. You're going to sit there and pound that song. I'm talking about you, but you might sit there and pound your chest about something other side of Aiden. Let me give you a stat real quick, because I said something in here, and then this guy claps back at me. Oh, hold on. Shut up, Mike. Shit, I lost my train of thought. This guy fired back at me in Twitter listing all of these names of players that aren't playing well. And the first one he listed was Coyote Owasika. Like, dude, do you realize this guy's a career backup and he maybe gets like 10 snaps a season? And you're going to tell me that he's underperforming? Come on. Like, did you really expect him to perform? All right, then he lists Graham Glasgow. Okay, Graham was never supposed to be a starting center this year. It's not the Lions' fault that Frank Ragnow retired after the free agency period. Well, that didn't make any matters better that he retired after the draft. It was like into June. So you can't blame the Lions for not being able to go out and find a starting center. They were hoping that Glasgow was going to at least get him through the season. And I think he's done a very commendable job, given the fact that he's got a rookie to his right, basically a rookie to his left, which is what I wanted, because I didn't want to see 2 rookies next to each other. Imagine that disaster. And he's doing the best he can, and injuries and everything else going on in this offensive line. You can't blame one single player. You can't. It's not feasible. It's not realistic. It doesn't make sense. And then he listed more players. He said, you got all these players. Brian Branch, he listed. I'm like, please tell me what Brian Branch is doing or not doing. You're saying he's underperforming. He's ranked as a top 24 safety this year. Last year, he was number 1-2 with Kirby Joseph. And he's playing inside the Legion of Whom right now, where he doesn't have the guys around him that he normally does. So he has to play out of position. He's playing in a robber role a lot this season. He's not playing in his normal spot. And then he has to worry about what's going on around him. Guys not knowing what to do, where to be, yada. You get it, right? So you can't blame him for everything. And he plays extremely well. And then he mentioned El-Kadi Muhammad. And I just started laughing because El-Kadi Muhammad has six sacks. Aiden had 7 or 7.5, depending on who you listen to, before the game, right? So now he has 8 or 8.5. El-Kadi still has 9. He still has 6. That again depends on who you listen to. Some people round up. So he has 8.5. El-Kadi has 6, right? El-Kadi Muhammad has 303 snaps. Aiden has 650. So from my perspective, El-Kadi Muhammad is outperforming Aiden. If El-Kadi Muhammad had played 650 snaps with Aiden, imagine where maybe El-Kadi Muhammad's stats would be. So when you look at your production per snap, El-Kadi is far exceeding what Aiden is doing. But no one's going to understand that. They're not going to pay attention to that. They're not going to believe in that. All they're going to look at is they're going to look at the overall number and say, he's better than El-Kadi Muhammad. But I don't know how you could say that El-Kadi Muhammad is underperforming. What is he? 30 years old, making around $1 million a year this year. I'd rather have 3 El-Kadi Muhammads on my roster than 1 Aiden. Give me 3 of those guys that you're hardly paying any money to that are producing 18 sacks if all 3 of them are producing the same versus the 13 sacks or 14 sacks that they have combined. And then if somebody gets hurt, you have a backup. Right? So that's how I look at it. I look at it from snap production and per snap production, per dollar production. That's how a GM looks at it. They're not just looking at the overall number. Okay? You go and play 1,000 snaps and you get 10 sacks. Is that better than a guy that played 300 snaps and got 10 sacks or got 9 sacks or 8 sacks? Well, the overall number is, but underneath it all, it's not. Not even close. So anyway, let me play this audio by Mike Valenti. It should pick up here.
You have to understand what PR departments are. They're not in the honesty business. Whether it's Lions PR or a PR for Ariana Grande telling you that she doesn't weigh 80 pounds and she's in perfect health. She's not. Someone help her. So the Lions are always going to double down on their investment in their hero, Aiden. Why? He's great for business. He had a team record with 6 quarterback hits yesterday. You guys have got to start, just watch the game and let your eyes tell you the truth. It's why all pressures aren't created equal. I'll give you an example. So some people are like, well, Aiden heated up in the 4th quarter. Jameis Winston had the second most time to pressure in the entire league yesterday. Then I don't want to hear about pressures. If a quarterback has all day to scan, it doesn't matter. A QB hit after a quarterback uncorks a 50-yard touchdown, doesn't matter. Now a QB hit that affects the throw, it matters. What I'm tired of is all of these PFF porno points, all of these created stats for Aiden. Either he's doubled all the time and he's not good enough to beat the double, meaning your GM didn't invest in him the way that we wanted, or he is Superman and he's just not playing like. I wanted to pay him. I'm happy he got paid. I'm also the guy who's wanted to reinvest in Aiden by getting him help because I don't think he's as good as you guys do. I think he's very good. I will not use the word great. You have everybody.
All right. Sorry, Shadur is going to be talked about today. You're coming, Shadur. Just 1 second, okay? Great points. I know it's a bit of a cut up of that morning segment. Again, I didn't go and watch the whole damn thing. I listened to this. Is that not a mirror image of what I said yesterday?
Yeah.
A mirror image. Mirror image. I love the PFF porno points. I love that because I've been saying it all, 3 seasons I've been doing this now, that PFF is great to a fault. PFF puts out a lot of stats. I'm going to say this very clearly for everybody out in the back. PFF was created by Chris Collinsworth. Well, he bought into it, right? Major investor into it, became a big part of it. Why? So that the NFL could sell you fantasy football. Go look at all of those stats and go look at all these created statisticians and analytical websites. They're all created a bunch of garbage stats to sell you fantasy football and prop bets. It's all intertwined to be a big engine of business. What I care about is the NFL from 20 seasons ago when you had a quick pressure. You had a quick sack, right? You cared about the get off time. You didn't care about the 18 other ways to pressure. Oh, you move a tackle into the box this way, it's a pressure. If you breathe on him this way, it's a pressure. If you look at him sideways, it's a pressure. Aiden Hutchinson in that game the other day, he may have got to Jameis Winston and got 6 quarterback hits, which, by the way, a hit, all that means is that the quarterback touched the ground, right? Uncorks the ball, like Valenti said, Aiden wasn't even close to him. Not even close. And then he uncorks the ball, and then he ends up on the ground because Aiden touched him. After the ball is completed. After the ball is downfield. The interception by Harper. Aiden didn't touch him. It was after the throw. It was a bad throw. Aiden was in his face. That's a hurry. That's a hurry, not a hit to me. Even though it's going to count as a hit because technically Aiden touched him and he fell down. He didn't go in and smack the dude and the ball come out. That's not what happened. No, the ball came out and then Aiden hit him. So give me a break with the stats. Look,
Yeah,
I love
our-
stats, but give me a break with the stats.
Our quarterback hits while the quarterback has the ball.
Hold on, buddy. Hold on. I got shit playing on its own now. All
Ah,
right, go ahead now.
I just
Sorry.
want to know if quarterback hits only count while the quarterback has the ball in his hand. Because if it's when the quarterback does not have the ball in his hand, why would that count?
No, the answer is no. A
just-
quarterback hit is any time a quarterback hits the ground before the ball is released or right after the ball is released.
Right after shouldn't count.
Nope, it sure shouldn't. And so go look at the tape and you tell me how many times the ball came out and then he ended up on the ground.
I did rewatch the whole game yesterday, and
I did
showed
too.
this. They showed this really cool shot of the crowd on third down, the first third down in overtime of the Giants when the Giants were on offense. The very first third down, they scan up to the crowd, and I'm right in the top left corner of the television set.
So wasn't going to get this spicy on Aiden today, but it drives me nuts that we can't just focus on football. We can't just have an honest conversation about what's really going on with the team. Because people are just they're going to live so blind to things. They're going to make up all these excuses and they're going to say, you're following your allegiance blindly doesn't do anybody any good, right? It definitely doesn't do the team any good. Still support them, of course. Show up for them every year like I always do. Still going to talk about them every day like I always do. But I'm going to give you the real, the raw, the authentic. I'm not going to give you fluff. I'm so sick and tired of people saying, give Aiden something else on the other side. If you give something else to Aiden on the other side, Aiden would probably be out of a job, to be honest with you. Because there's other players that are doing way more than he is. Way more. He didn't affect the game at all until the fourth quarter. Great, you heated up in the fourth quarter. You ended the game on a sack. Wonderful. That game was over. The game was over. And that was more of a coverage sack, if anything. And I said that yesterday too. 3.5 seconds of time to throw, or 3.37 seconds of time to throw is because of the secondary.
Way too long.
If you're not, well, no, it's good that the secondary is doing that, but why is Aiden then not able to get there in under 3 seconds?
That's what I mean. It's way too long for our front four not to be getting there.
Exactly my point. And Aiden was not doubled as much as what people are trying to make it out to be. He's not. And I'm going to call bullshit on everybody doing these double stats, because when I go and watch the film, I don't see it. I'm sorry. A dropping guard is not a double. That's a chip. Right? A tight end coming out, through the backfield is a chip, not a double. Halfback, running back coming out of the backfield is a chip, not a double. When two guard and tackle or tackle and tight end make direct contact with that player all at once, that is a double. If they are not contacting you at the same time, it is not a double. It's very simple. It's so simple, it's stupid. Yesterday, Giants right tackle Jermaine Illuminor called out Aiden Hutchinson after the loss. He said, "How do I say this respectfully? He did not do a damn thing all effing game. He strikes me as the type of guy who would try to celebrate that one play. But for most of the day, I was on an island with him." There's the key word. Island, which means what, Eric?
Singled up.
Singled up. And he didn't do anything. But yet we're going to prop this dude up at the end of the game when he was on an island and didn't make a play during the game to not bring it to overtime. That's the difference between an elite defensive end and Aiden Hutchinson right now. In the game, you have 4 quarters to make your presence felt. And he didn't. So, again, watch the film. Don't trust me. Go watch the film. Let's listen to what Aiden Hutchinson had to say about the whole thing. And then we'll actually get into some content.
I didn't even watch the film until last night, but what I did is I watched it live in person at the field, and in my eyes, I saw him getting stood up all game long.
Yep.
Vertical. Yeah.
But we're still we're gonna prop him up. People call me a state boy or Michigan State fan, just like they do Valenti. Well, you got to understand, I don't even care about college football like I used to. I don't even watch it half the time. Yeah, I'm a fan of Michigan State, but I'm not invested. I haven't been invested into that team since D'Antonio left.
Well, I'll tell you this. So as far as Hutch goes, don't you think he looks like a much different player now than he did last year? That first 5 games of last year, man, he looked like no one could stop him. He looked like a Myles Garrett. And this year, he's just not affecting the game like he was before. Yeah, and he got the big contract, and now he's not. It's just not the same.
Well, I'm going to give Aiden this pass because I think we all owe it to Aiden, just like we would any player. He's coming off a major injury.
Yes.
Okay, and even though he got this contract, I'm going to say that contract with the plan, I guess I would say the plan for the Lions and Brad Holmes in Detroit, staff, whatever. The plan was, let's get it done so we can try to save as much money as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's the plan.
They did.
There's another team out there that would pay Aiden what he's making right now. There's another team that would do it. Okay?
There's probably 28 of them.
Possibly. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that was the plan, to get it done so they could save some money. It wasn't so much to get the plan to lock him up for life as a Lion. I still think the Lions are going to end up trading him at some point. It could be next year. It could be 2-3 years.
The state of Michigan would have a revolt.
You know what? They don't understand business then. I'm sorry. Look, if you're in any sort of a position in life and you're managing people, I'm sorry.
Well, Michigan fans can't separate Saturdays and Sundays. It's proven they can't do it because when JJ McCarthy came to town, Lions fans cheered for him.
Yeah, that was some bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm very disappointed in all of you for that one. Very disappointed. You don't ever root for the other team. I don't care who it is.
Listen, the way these so-called Lions fans have been this week, I've never been so upset with my own fan base in my life. I've never been more disappointed in my own fan base ever in my entire life as I have been this last couple of weeks. We win the friggin' game against the Giants and half of our so-called fan base turns on us. I don't get it. Yes, you can be critical of your team, but you can't jump on social media and say, we got to get rid of Goff, got to get rid of Hutch, we got to get rid of this guy, got to get rid of that guy, got to get rid of this guy. You can't do it.
What you can do is you can be honest about the fact that sometimes players don't have their best game.
Yeah.
Like we can't expect these guys, and in Aiden Hutchinson's case too, like we can't expect these guys to go out and be perfect. But you know what? Last year, just about every single game, Goff was damn near perfect. So much so he was perfect in a game. And you want to go back and throw this dude under a bus when he's going through hell this season with that offensive line. But back to Aiden. Like in his case, I still have to give him a pass because he's coming off of this major injury. I don't think the contract says Aiden is fully healthy. Here you go. I don't think the contract says Aiden is fully back. Here you go. I think what it says is we're going to lock him up. They did it in a way that if you look at the contract, they have got outs everywhere. They could walk away next year and it would still not hurt them that much. But 27 is the likely out period that saves them the most money. So they're the way that his contract guarantees hit, they hit like right in the season or before the season, which is a little bit different than most contracts that I've seen. A lot of players got guarantee at signing, and it's considerable more money at signing versus what Aiden got. And I'm still on this threshold that I'm kind of on the edge here with Aiden. Are you going to get there or are you not? Have we seen the best of Aiden? And last year, to your point, when you said he looked like a Myles Garrett or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember?
Well, I remember who he played against.
Yeah, so there you go. You remember the quality of the left tackles he was going up against.
Yes.
Third string.
But it doesn't matter. NFL's NFL.
To a degree, yes.
Myles Garrett doesn't care. He gets 5 sacks against no matter what team it is, man. That guy's going to blow past the sack record this year. He's going to have 30 friggin' sacks. He only needs what, 3 or 4 more?
Yeah. So hold on. John Desage, here's the difference, buddy. John Desage says if McNeil had 6 tackles, 1 sack, and 2 TFLs, y'all would be stroking him. The difference is Ali McNeil is an interior defensive tackle. He is not meant to just get after the quarterback. He is meant to shut down the run game.
Well, you got to take that back, Will.
Hold on.
Go back and look.
No, he was on the outside.
He was playing edge
for a couple of snaps. That exactly what I said last week. I wanted to see guys moving around, and I wanted to see Aleem on the outside. Did I not say that?
He's our new edge. You didn't know that?
No, he's not. He played a couple of snaps on the outside. But the point that I'm trying to make is he's back 3 games. 3. From an insanely tough, difficult, grimy-ass recovery.
Yeah.
He's 3 games in. Aleem McNeil gets a pass a whole year. Right? He didn't come back like Aiden did at the beginning of the season. He came back mid-season. So you have to give him, 4 or 5 game ramp-up period before he's even playing at what could be his highest level for the season, but that's not the highest level that Aleem McNeil will ever play. Aleem has done more from the interior, and you have to think about this for a moment. What Aleem does is pushes everything to the outside. And that is where Aiden is supposed to do his job. So Aleem's not going to get the stats. He never will get the stats. He never has got the stats. 6 sacks, I think, is the most he's had in a season. The stats go to the outside. The stats go to the guys when you're doing your job and you're pushing that player, or you're pushing the run game to the outside. That is time for Aiden to show up. How about Roy Lopez yesterday on Sunday? Best player on the field all day. Hands down. Best player on the field for the Lions defense. Roy Lopez absolutely had an insane game. How many sacks did he have on Sunday? 2?
Who?
2.
Roy Lopez?
Yeah.
No, there was only 1 sack on Jameson, and that was Hutch.
Did they not count the one a sack?
No. He only had 1. We only had 1 sack.
Maybe it was in front of the line, but Roy Lopez was in the backfield being destructive more than anybody else on that team.
Oh, yeah. I would have given Roy Lopez a game ball. He was a game wrecker. He put his paw up and knocked that pass down.
Mm-hmm.
He was incredible.
So the point that I'm making there is the dude's making what? $3 million?
Yeah.
And he's destroying guys. And I saw it coming during that Cardinals game. I said, this is a dude. This is a dude that's giving Ragnow fits. This is a guy that we want to see. And Brad went out and got him. Brad said the same damn thing. So let's get into Aiden. Let's see what he had to say. Hey, that's not the screen.
There we go.
Make sure it's all unmuted.
Probably saw the comments from Giants offensive lineman who was kind of critical of your play, except for what happened at the very end. Do you have any thoughts on what he said?
Yeah, I'm off social media, so I didn't really see it. Some guys told me, but hey, I think people will have their opinions about how things went, and that is what it is. We won the game, and I ended the game with a sack, and I don't care when the sack comes, as long as it's there. It's and we get the win. It's great. So yeah, I'm not going to address it any further. I think it's just it is what it is. He had his opinion, and he expressed it, and we're moving on to the Packers. Yeah, they told me it was just it is what it is, man. He can he can speak his mind however he wants, but it's we got the win and I'm moving on to the Packers.
Aiden, how different is this Green Bay team from week 1 when you lost to them?
Yeah, it's interesting. These divisional opponents, you kind of get the same flavor a little bit, but a couple of different wrinkles every game when you play them. And I'm sure that they'll have those different plays lined up for us, ready to go. And we got to be ready, and we just got to execute our own game plan. And what we have, we got to just do it at a high level. And I think that everything will take care of itself.
You got any tips for Aleem to play on the edge?
One more time, I'm sorry.
Any tips for Aleem playing out on the edge like he's done a little bit?
I think he's done a great job, so I think I'm going to keep letting him do his thing.
Dan said, just kind of looking, kind of where you guys are and what needs to be done. He said maybe this is kind of how it is this year. Last year you kind of cruised to 15 wins, and this year it's been a little bit more of a fight, but still everything can be accomplished. Everything's in front of you. Just wanted your impressions of kind of where you are right now and what you still have to do as a team.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can have pretty much the same guys, and it can just every team is always different every single year, and different obstacles and present itself. And we found ourselves with a couple losses early, and I think right now we are just head down, grinding these wins out, and really just focused on the next game, and that's the Packers, and focused on being 1-0 this week, and really, I think if we adopt that mentality, it will serve us in the end. And I think going to the playoffs, when we are hitting our stride, going into the playoffs, that's the most ideal time to do that.
Obviously, you've grown up in Michigan your whole life. You saw the Lions on Thanksgiving probably forever. As a player, now how much more of appreciation do you have for what a player has to do to get ready, like back for a Thursday game on Thanksgiving, coming off a Sunday, man? Does that give you a different level of appreciation for this game and what athletes have to do to get prepared?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially the OT, I think I had about 70-something plays. So it's, a lot of recovery, a lot of sleep, a lot of water, just getting ready for the game. And I think all of us will be ready. I mean, we took the loss in week 1, so it's a divisional game. This is as big as any game we'll play in the regular season.
Have you been keeping an eye on Divine Child? A couple upsets now.
State championship. Man. I know me and it's against Tesla's team. So that's another storyline. That's fun. So we were already chatting up about it if we're going to go or not, but we'll see. But yeah, it's fun.
That's two mean defensive players. Did you guys gang up on him in his locker and try to intimidate him? A little trash talk in there?
Who's that? Who?
Trevor, too? No?
Trevor where?
Trevor, Divine Child?
Oh, my bad. Trevor went to Salem, I think.
Right on.
Yeah, he played at GC. Yeah, that's right.
You guys got a little jersey bet or anything like that?
I don't know. We were talking pregame, but I was like, look, let me just lock in on this game, and then we can talk after. But I haven't really seen him, but we'll talk. We'll talk soon.
All right, can I do it this way, though, with all the cameras here? Just a message to all those players that look up to you, that are carving their own path right now. Any message to the Divine Child players right now?
Keep it up. I mean, they've gone farther than I've ever gone in my high school career, so that's a props to them and a props to their chemistry and teamwork. And, man, be rooting for you on Friday, I think. Yeah.
You got Rod Wood's team on the way last week. I don't know if you knew that.
Is that right? You went there?
Yeah.
No way. Sorry, Rod.
Chad played there, too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, just a bunch of blabber after that. So not much for me to really break down here, but look, Aiden's he's not going to be the guy that's going to fire back. I've got a couple of things that I really dislike about the usage of Aiden, and I'm always going to defend Aiden to a degree. If you haven't learned by now, I'm going to give you the real, the raw, the authentic take, and I'm going to be honest about everything and everything that I see. I know a lot of people don't have time to review tape. They don't have time to really dig deep into stats and analytics, and that's why you come here. You come here to get the facts. I'm not going to give you BS. Eric's not going to give you BS. Eric's more of a, of the fan, is going to give you the glorified view. He's starting to kind of come to my side a little bit, ever so slowly. But it's trying to give you the facts here, and that's why you guys show up. I have to defend Aiden during the game in his overusage. Now, I get it when Calvin Shepard said, yeah, you go ask that guy to come out, and you see what he says. He's not coming out. That is to the fault of Aiden. This is where I need Aiden's game to take the next level or the next step, and it's not on the field. It's off the field is where I need Aiden to grow as a fan, right? As a fan, that's how I feel. 70 snaps, and in 4 days, you're going again. Aiden, back that off just 10 snaps. Just 10. And what that would have done for you in the fourth quarter, you probably could have ended the game in the fourth quarter. Maybe you had a little bit of extra juice. If you're taking, a snap, maybe 2 snaps off here or there every quarter, it helps. Maybe you take second down off and we put in the run defense guys. We put in an extra defensive tackle, Calvin. Please put in an extra defensive tackle and continue to shut that run game down. We still have guys that can get into the backfield. You know, maybe you go 3 defensive tackles, you go 4 linebackers. I was surprised on that one. It was a third down. It was a third or fourth down call late in the game, and we could have ended it. And we didn't go to like a 3-4-4 or even a 3-3-5. We didn't do anything, but a 3-4-4 would have been beautiful to have, extra guys in the middle of that defense, but guys that can move, guys that can fill gaps. We don't necessarily need 2 edge guys on every play. That's why a 3-4 defense exists. We have the guys on this roster to run a 3-4 defense. We do. We have the right players. We have 3 nose tackles for the most part. DJ Reader, Tyleek Williams, Aleem McNeil's a little bit lighter, but DJ Reader and Tyleek Williams are both nose tackles that can move. Not so much DJ, but you put DJ in the middle, you put Tyleek to the right, you put Aleem to the left, and then you get your 4 linebackers in there. You can still have AQM in there, obviously, on the far right, Derek Barnes on the far left, Jack and Anzo in the middle, or Jack and Malcolm now in the middle. I think that's a much better defense to run in that situation. That gets Aiden out of the game for at least a play. And if it's on second down, 2 second downs a quarter, 1 second down a quarter, whatever it equates out to be, 70 snaps is way too much to have to turn around and do it again in 4 days. Aiden was gassed in that fourth quarter. Yeah, he turned up a little bit. He was having a little bit more, presence in the backfield. He was getting to the quarterback, even though it was a little bit late. It did help. I'm not saying it didn't help, but it was still late. Had he had a little bit more juice, I'm wondering if he could have got there a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the game changes, is when Aiden gets there a split second quicker. Different game, different conversation right now. Now Aiden is up on that pedestal because Aiden now knocked down 3 sacks, or Aiden batted a couple of balls down, right? Different game. It's all about the mentality, man. I need to get myself out because that's how I help my team. Me staying in there and being stubborn is not how I help my team. That's the only part of Aiden's game that I would love to see him grow. Dude, he's going to be entering his 5th year. You're not getting young. You're getting older. And that's my first question for everybody in the chat this morning, and you, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Our team in 2023 was really young, right? I think we were top 10 youngest team still. I mean, 21, 22, we were like 1-2 youngest team in the league. But after we brought in a couple of free agents and did a handful of things, we got a little bit older, right? Now into year 5, our team is not as young as it used to be. So my question is this: are we starting to see a ceiling for some of these players that now the league has grown accustomed to? They know what they're doing. They know where they're going. And are they starting to slow down a little bit because they're getting a little bit older? They've taken the heat of the NFL. They went balls to the wall for all those years before they got paid. I feel like some of them have slowed up a little bit. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown had an amazing game, but through the course of the season, he's not showing up when we need him to as often as we need him to. What's going on? Is our team getting a little bit older to the point to where maybe they're slowing down and they're just not able to cook like they were in 2023? And I say that because we're about to watch a video in a moment. The energy in just the post-game locker room celebration alone is different. Zero energy from these guys. Now, maybe we haven't seen the whole video, the entire locker room celebration, but when we see Dan and the game ball distribution and, they come up and they break down, it's not the same. The energy on the sidelines, the energy during the game, the energy, the celebrations, too much shit going on in the end zone. The energy's different. And I say that because I went back and watched 23 and 24 a little bit. This team has a totally different energy. And I'm wondering where it went. So is it age? The guy's getting older? Or is there something wrong with the locker room and the coaches that we brought in that are just not meeting that threshold?
Well, if you go back to when we won the NFC Championship game, we were 12-5 that season. We were not 15-2. And we had a lot of rookies. You know, we had Aiden Hutchinson as a rookie, I believe. Or no, that would have been his second year. But anyway, I digress. We had a bunch of rookies. We had a bunch of younger players. You know, that was only second, third year for a lot of these players. And we got all the way to the NFC Championship game, and we didn't. And we just didn't have enough left in the tank to get us over the hump. And I think it had less to do with playing and more to do with coaching in that game than anything, because Dan was still trying to find himself, even though he's still trying to find himself with the fourth down calls and not taking field goals.
Yeah, but the question, Eric, is: do you think that we're aging?
Yeah, so I'm getting there.
Okay, so Amon Ra's into his fifth year, you know.
Yeah, so then you go to last year, and injuries decimated us, and we went 15-2. So all those guys that were rookies the 2 and 3 years previous, you know, they're getting some what do you call it, experience behind them. And man, look what they can do. Even with all these injuries, they can go 15-2. So I think they came into this year thinking they're just unstoppable, and injuries start hitting again, and they're not unstoppable because this O-line is a mess. And I think it has more to do with injuries and coaching than anything. Not so much being young and inexperienced.
All right, before I go into the next section, Eric, why don't you walk us through, before I bring in the next video?
Okay.
Trace just said I got background music coming. I don't hear any background music. But do us a favor. Let's go through the 5 reasons why Detroit could win against Green Bay.
Do you want to do the 5 reasons Green Bay could win or the Lions could win first?
Actually, why don't you run through the NFC North report, because that's not as long.
Okay.
I just want to listen. I want to see if there's background noise.
All right. We're going to go to the NFC North report for today, 2 days before Thanksgiving. The Minnesota Vikings, they have a little injury update. The Minnesota Vikings have placed quarterback J.J. McCarthy into the concussion protocol after he reported symptoms on the team flight home following Sunday's loss to Green Bay Packers. Isn't that exactly how J.J. McCarthy's last injury occurred? After the game? Not during the game. It happened after the game. So McCarthy struggled in the loss. It was a 23-6 loss to the Green Bay Packers, throwing for a season-low 87 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, while taking 5 sacks. And I mentioned earlier, the only other quarterback to be worse than McCarthy through his first 6 games was Jamarcus Russell. Okay, in his 6 starts this season, McCarthy has thrown for 6 touchdowns against 10 interceptions. He currently ranks near the bottom of the league over the last decade in QBR at 25.6, a completion percentage of 54, and a passing yards per game of 154.8. With the veteran backup quarterback Carson Wentz already out for the season due to a shoulder injury, rookie quarterback Max Brosmer is now effectively the QB1. He is expected to start Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks if McCarthy cannot clear protocol. The Lions dropped the Vikings to a 4 the loss dropped the Vikings to a 4-7 record, marking their 3rd consecutive defeat. So I have a question for you, Will. Once again, McCarthy comes up with an injury after the game and not during the game. Is there something fishy going on in Minnesota with the QB injuries?
I don't know if it's something fishy or if they're trying to save face. And maybe that's one and the same. Look, McCarthy's been working on fundamentals into week 12. It was just talked about last week and the week before. I forget who was talking about it on one of the bigger, 3 and 4 letter agencies, but you're still working on fundamentals and mechanics into week 12 of your second season. That's a problem. And when you watch the guy throw, it is the most awkward release I've ever seen. And he gets the ball up high, but it is really awkward. Some throws are on point, and some throws are so far off the mark, you don't even know where he was throwing the ball. And I think Minnesota is probably just at the point that they realize, okay, season's probably over. Well, we'll see if Brosmer can give us a bump, if he can give us something, to get this team going in the right direction again. Otherwise, they're going to pack it in and get a better. They're going to get a better draft pick. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Do they take a quarterback again next year?
Oh, probably.
Or try to bring in a free agent?
I would think one or the other. They'll probably do something there.
Okay, so now up next, the Green Bay Packers. Even after a win against the Minnesota Vikings, it seems that Packer fans, yes, Packer fans, are still not happy with Matt LaFleur's conservative play calling in the second half and in most of the games this season. So the Tribune from Green Bay, they put out a bunch of, I'll say, tweets or, social media posts from fans about Matt LaFleur after the win against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this is after a win, mind you. Okay, this is what one fan had to say. I'm going to start with one and go through a few of these. Why is Matt LaFleur ashamed of ever going up 3 scores? Get this guy out of here. And then another fan wrote, it's so weird. His running back one is out and refuses to turn the game over to his top tier quarterback. And then Matt LaFleur plays so scared. Love is protecting the ball better than anyone, and he just won't let him loose. Another fan says, there's simply not a more terrified play caller in all of the NFL than Matt LaFleur. Find someone that loves you the way Matt LaFleur loves letting bad football teams hang around in games. And then all season long, the Packers have struggled with putting teams away. That inability has come back to bite them on multiple occasions with the Browns, the Cowboys, and the Carolina Panthers. So that kind of gives me hope as a Lions fan that even if we do kind of end up going down, we might have a chance. So after hearing what fans had to say, does that give you peace of mind heading into Thursday's game if the Detroit Lions happen to fall behind to the Green Bay Packers in the game?
Does what give me hope exactly?
That fans don't have any trust in Matt LaFleur's play calling. So they essentially, once they have a lead, they kind of let up. They don't keep trying to push the ball downfield. They just run. Yeah.
And I say it sounds familiar because that was us in 23. In 2023, we would get these giant leads, and then all of a sudden we would go to, like, instead of pushing the ball, instead of trying to just rack up points, it's let off the gas a little bit, and then next thing you know, 3 and out, and you're letting that team back in. I can't say that we lost a game after having a giant lead. I can't remember that far back. I slept a couple of times since then, but maybe. The thing about last season, in one of the videos that I'll play this morning, which I'm not supposed to play, but I'm going to play it because I don't care. You heard Jared Goff say he's had enough of that shit. Exact quote. He's had enough. They don't want to let up. They want to continue to score. They don't care about the gentleman's agreement of, don't just pile on. They're going to continue to score no matter what. They're going to continue to pile on the points. If they can score, they're going to score. And I think that's the right way to go about it. This is a game of billions and billions of dollars. There is no reason to ever take a break. You just keep on piling it on. I don't care if it's 100-0. Keep scoring. Just keep doing it. Why not? Obviously, you want to get some of your guys out when you can, but go ahead, keep going.
Yep. And now we're going to move on to the Chicago Bears. So Ben Johnson, he has a chance to make history in a bad way. The Bears are the third team in the NFL history to have 8+ wins and have a negative point differential of -3 through 11 games of a season. The other two teams to do it were the 2020 Cleveland Browns, and they ended the season in the AFC divisional playoffs. So they went to the divisional game. And then it happened once again way back in 1987, and the San Diego Chargers ended up finishing the season 8-7. So one team made it to the second round of the playoffs. The other team finished 8-7. So I have a question for you, Will. With the Bears and Ben Johnson winning 8 games so far with a negative point differential, needing only 2 or 3 more wins this season, will the Chicago Bears make the playoffs in Ben Johnson's first season as head coach?
Well, I mean, I was on record last week saying they're going to be playing the toughest schedule going forward. The first half was a cakewalk. And what are they, 8-4 now? Yeah, see, or whatever. So you have 3-4 losses against, easy teams. They've got to prove it. This is the time to prove it. So they're either frauds or they're for real, and that's going to be proven over the next several games. I had the Bears finishing 9-8, I think is what I put out there, was 9-8 to finish their season. So do they have 3 losses or 4 right now?
3.
They could be as high as 10-7. And that could be enough to get a wild card.
Yep.
Could be. They have to beat the Packers, right? I think the Packers are still coming. Yeah, they're 8-3. The Packers are 7-3. Lions are 7-4. So the Packers have played 1 less game than the Bears. If the Bears have a tie. Oh, they have that tie. That's right. They're 7-3-1. If all the NFC North teams had their bye weeks
twice. So we're all through our bye weeks, but the Bears and the Packers, they play next week, and then the Bears play someone else, and then they play the Packers again.
Yeah, that's 2 losses.
2 out of 3 weeks they have to play the Packers.
Yeah, that's 2 losses right there.
If the Packers end up losing to the Lions this week, man, they're going to be a team with their hair on fire, because at 7-4-1. Man, that's going to put them down to 3rd place in the division and in a really, really tough spot.
Yeah. No, I think the Bears could squeak in, but I still think that they're not winning the North. I mean, that's the most important thing. They're not going to win the North. But I still think that they could squeak in, just depending on what the rest of the teams do, because they're going up against the hardest schedule, and some of the other teams not so much.
Yep.
Our schedule is getting a little bit easier. What's not getting easier for us is our offensive line. Our offensive line is our problem. Our offensive line is either going to win or lose this season for us. Because nobody else.
I also looked at the Green Bay Packers remaining schedule. They actually have, as of today, the hardest remaining schedule in the NFL.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
they shouldn't.
They changed it after this weekend. They updated it. I just looked at it last night.
Hold on.
That they had the hardest remaining, because now the Packers play like the Ravens, and the Ravens are doing really good now, where they were 1-5.
It's still
earlier.
The Bears, so I don't know where you saw that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know where you're seeing that. The Packers are.
You looking at an updated one from yesterday though?
13th, maybe. Yeah, this has the Bears at 8-3. They have the number 1 remaining strength of schedule. This is the NFL Football Power Index, is what I go by.
Okay.
And what it looks at is it's the Football Power Index, so it gives you your overall rank, the offenses and defenses you're going up against, and special teams, and kind of where all those rank. Your strength of schedule overall. The Bears had the 31st strength of schedule overall to start the season. Their remaining is number 1. Number 2 behind them is the Raiders. Number 3 is the Colts. Number 4 is the Cardinals. Number 5 is the Chargers. 6 would be the Vikings, Texans, Steelers, Broncos, Cowboys, Commanders, then the Lions, then the Packers. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We are 12th. The Packers are 13th. Bears are number 1. Does it really matter?
No.
Not really, because we've seen teams show up when we don't expect them to show up. The overall strength of schedule, get this, the New York Giants, remember when I was saying the other day, I don't know how they ended up with this schedule. They had the number 1 overall strength of schedule this season. Lions were number 9. The Bears were 31. The Packers were 25. So that should make you feel a little bit better. I mean, this would be a whole segment to kind of go through all these and kind of look at where they stack up and what their records are. But the number 1 strength of schedule and the Giants are 2-10. So when I look at teams that are doing well, the Kansas City Chiefs at 6-5, they had the number 4 hardest strength of schedule. The Buccaneers at 6-5, they had the 7th hardest strength of schedule. The Vikings at 4-7, they had like the 9th or the 8th hardest strength of schedule. The Lions at 7-4 had the 9th hardest strength of schedule. So that should make you feel better, through the first half of the season, that we've gone up against some really good football teams. But where it gets even a little bit more dicier than that, offenses that we have faced, the Lions have faced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6 best offenses in the league this season, which should tell you our defense is doing pretty good, right? Defenses that we have faced, the Lions were ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th. So we've gone up against the 5th hardest offenses and the 11th hardest defenses this season so far. And we're 7-4. If anything, we've gotten our butts kicked, around a little bit, but we're hanging in there against some of the best teams. When we get up against the Rams, that's, to me, is the true test. The Eagles, I'm over it. We should have won that game. Dan Campbell is extremely pissed at himself about that game. He wants it all back. He knows he screwed up. He really screwed up. That shouldn't have been a loss. But the Rams is going to be the true test, man. That defense is scary.
Yep.
What else you got? Or was that it?
All right. That's it for around the NFC North.
All right.
I could do my around the league in 60 seconds if you'd like.
Yeah, go for it. Because then I'm gonna go into this video of when's the last time the Packers came to Ford Field.
Yeah, the very first pass, a long bomb from Jordan Love. And we wore the throwbacks. We're wearing the throwbacks again this week. And I got kind of a funny story about that. So I went out and I bought an authentic throwback Jared Goff real deal jersey. What was it, last year or the year before? Last time before when we actually wore the throwbacks on Thanksgiving, right? And I'm holding on to this jersey for a full year, and we get to Thanksgiving and we don't wear the throwbacks. And I'm like, crap, I'm not wearing a throwback jersey on, I try to wear the exact same jersey they wear every week. So I finally get to wear my Jared Goff throwback jersey this week. All right, we're going to go around the NFL in 60 seconds. The Raiders, they have fired offensive coordinator Chip Kelly following the team's loss to the Browns. This decision comes just 11 games into his tenure as the Raiders' offense has struggled significantly this season. Now, Baker Mayfield. The Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield has been diagnosed with a sprained left shoulder non-throwing injury and is scheduled for an MRI to determine the severity. He was ruled out of Sunday night's loss to the Rams, and he was replaced by Teddy Bridgewater. Oh, good old Teddy Two Gloves. The Bengals. T. Higgins is in concussion protocol after a scary fall during Sunday's loss to the Patriots. His status is in doubt for the Bengals' upcoming Thanksgiving Day game against the Ravens. Last night, the Panthers fell to the 49ers. Had the Panthers won that game last night, it would have pushed Detroit back up into the number 7 seed. But with a win, that gives the 49ers 8 wins on the season. And then the Patriots, they won their 9th straight game. And they are the talk of the league after defeating the Bengals 26-20, extending their winning streak to 9 games. Seahawks wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba now leads the NFL with 1,313 receiving yards, breaking DK Metcalf's franchise record for receiving yards in a single season. The Las Vegas Raiders, they fired Chip Kelly. I talked about this in the beginning, and hours after the Raiders offense was booed during the 24-10 loss to the Cleveland Browns, the Raiders fired Chip Kelly. And one thing I forgot to mention is when the Raiders signed the veteran football coach, it was to a league-high $6 million contract this past offseason. He was the most expensive offensive coordinator in the NFL. And he was fired by the Las Vegas Raiders amid the team's ongoing skid. All right, now the next one. The New York Giants, they might have a little case of the Honolulu Blue flu after playing the Detroit Lions. Now, after blowing yet another double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, they have fired defensive coordinator Shane Bowen. Interim coach Mike Kafka announced on Monday. The move comes 2 weeks after the dismissal of his head coach, Brian Daboll. It was the fifth time this season that Bowen's defense allowed at least a 10-point lead to slip away, tying an NFL record. Bowen will be replaced on an interim basis by outside linebackers coach Charlie Bullen. And that's around the league in 60 seconds for Tuesday.
All right, be right back here in just 17.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
All right, so the last time the Packers came to Ford Field,
horrible game.
Let me pull this up.
I want revenge for that more than I want revenge for week one.
So 2024, we kick off the season. We kicked off the season against the Rams and the Bucks, right? We won one, lost one. And a few weeks later, so several weeks later, God, it had to be week 10. I don't know when it was, December 5th. The Packers come to Detroit. We win 34-31. We won in a way that really pissed off Matt LaFleur. He was pissed. There were some things that went on in this game. The fan that was talking shit to Matt LaFleur. There was that. And then later in the game, how Dan Campbell ended this game was epic. And LaFleur, you could see, and I couldn't find the video, but you saw the videos last year where he's looking at the sideline at Dan Campbell and he's cussing him out because of what Dan Campbell just did. Now, before that,
he was
Lions
throwing the F-bombs around.
Yeah, Lions at Packers. That was November 3rd of 2024. So the last time the Packers came to Detroit, they lost. They lost in fitting fashion. They lost because of Dan Campbell's aggressiveness.
Yep.
Let me get my statement open here. So our offense. Let me just give you a quote. Dan Campbell said, "Our offense, we knew they were going to need to carry the load. You need to carry a little bit more of the backpacks and such. And man, we did that. They did that." Detroit was severely shorthanded on defense in that game in December. They had to start 3 players who were added earlier in that week. If you remember, we poached all 3 players from practice squads. And they lost their only remaining starter on the defensive line, Lee McNeil, to a head injury halfway through the game. The Lions knew that they needed the offense to carry, and they did. Those 4th down conversions really helped extend the drives, which allowed the Lions offense to run a total of 76 plays and own 36 minutes of time of possession during this game. Dan Campbell said that I just felt like we needed to end it on offense. And I did not want to give that ball back. And I believe that we could get that. I believe that we could convert. And I trust that O-line. I trust David Montgomery. And they came through for us. It was a hell of a call by the offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. I knew how I wanted to play this game. The team knew it. And everything in me told me, let's finish this. And so we did. Now, I say all that to kind of preface what happened in this game. So I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to watch a little video here, which I'm probably going to have to trim out later, but at least we'll enjoy it for the morning, of how we ended the game and ended the Packers December 5th of 2024. Here we go. All the memories that come back from that play, man. What an insane way to end a game. December 5th, 2024, the last time the Packers. Now, that's not the only play. That's not the only play that pissed off LaFleur, obviously. How about it was a 4th down give to, was it Jahmyr Gibbs for the touchdown? Remember that play?
Mm-hmm.
Was that game too? I think it was. Yeah.
Yep, it was.
That might have been in the first half.
Insane.
Insane.
We were 4 for 5 on 4th downs. Instead of kicking field goals, we were taking touchdowns.
So I'm going to point to something. Obviously, you're 12-1. The energy's high. Where's that energy? I don't see the energy. We're missing something. It's like you left something out of the recipe, and the cookies just don't taste right. That's the feeling that I get from last year to this year, is we're missing an ingredient right now. And I can't put my fingers on it as a fan. I don't know what it is. I really don't. Now, we've watched every post-game locker room celebration. I feel like they're getting cut off this year, or they're just not the same. I don't know. Maybe they were doing a little bit more because of the quarterback thing with Netflix, and I don't know. It seems like every time we've had HBO in the house or we've had Netflix in the house, we get more, obviously, but I feel like the energy is just different this year. Do you know what I'm saying, Eric? Like, do you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you feel like the energy is different?
Oh yeah. The energy with the O-line is different this year.
Oh, that's for damn sure.
Yes,
that's for damn sure.
You're missing Frank Ragnow way more than you ever thought you would have. I think that's what that boils down to. That guy was the leader of that offensive line, and just the ultimate warrior. You know.
Yeah. Let me do a transition so I'm gonna have to clip this out. So be right back.
Okay.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
Okay, and we're back, and we're talking about the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers matchup here for Thanksgiving. Tate Ratledge in his first Thanksgiving Day game. We're going to get into that here in just a few moments. Take a quick peek here at what's up next for the rest of the teams here in the NFC North. What does it look like according to Tim Twentyman, bringing his article from this morning at 7 o'clock, where he says, NFC North, where all 4 teams stand heading into Week 13. Eric just did his, I was supposed to do this when you did your NFC North, but I forgot. So, obviously Chicago at 8-3. Their offensive rank is 6th. Their scoring offense is 8th. Their defensive rank is 27th. Scoring defense is 26th. NFC playoff picture right now, number 3. According to Tim Twentyman, Chicago's playoff probability percentage still stands at 62%. Tim Twentyman says the Bears avoided having to play the Aaron Rodgers-led Steelers and were able to do enough to win that game. Had Rodgers been in that game, maybe it's a different game. But honestly, I like Mason Rudolph. I think he played commendable. I think he did a good job in that game. And I don't think the Bears did enough to win. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers did enough to lose. That's how I felt that game went. The Bears were without 6 starters on defense in that game and lost 3 more in the game, but still found a way to win. Credit to them, says Tim Twentyman. We will really start to see what this Bears team is made of over the next couple of weeks with road games against Philly and Green Bay. And I think that's where the rubber meets the road. You're starting to see what kind of happened to the Lions last year. Their defense is starting to fall apart at the seams. Hasn't been a good defense all season. And the reason why I will stick with the Steelers did enough to lose that game, the Bears didn't do enough to win, is because anytime a team has down 9 defensive players on defense, you have to win that game. You absolutely have to win that game. Whatever. Steelers didn't help us out. Green Bay 7-3-1. Right now their offensive rank is 13th. Scoring offense is 13th. Defensive rank is 4th overall. Scoring defense is 5th. NFC playoff picture, they are the 6th seed currently. And Tim Twentyman says, it was a dominant defensive performance, which allowed, I'm sorry, this is the quote from the game from LaFleur. It was a dominant defensive performance, which allowed us to play the way that we played. That was Matt LaFleur after Sunday's win against the Vikings. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy didn't help us out at all. Twentyman says the Vikings mustered just 145 total yards while going 2 of 9 on third down against a Packers defense that comes into Thursday's matchup against the Lions, ranked top 5 in the NFL in both total and scoring defense. It's a formidable unit, as Detroit found out week 1 in the loss to Green Bay. Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy was sacked 5 times and intercepted twice, and had just a 34.2 passer rating against the Packers. This is an elite Packers defense with the addition of Micah Parsons, who recorded his 10th sack of the season on Sunday. Detroit's offense will have to be on point at home Thursday against a versatile and deep Packers defensive unit. Now, let me just look at NFL scores, right? Just for a moment. Week 12. Packers and Vikings. That game was decisive, right? 23-6. Should the Packers have beat the Vikings more than 23-6?
That's what people are saying.
Right. And I think they should have too. You have a top 5 defense and a top, was it 5 offense, I think, too? Top 4?
Yep.
No, I'm sorry, 13th. 13th offensive rank. I think that they should have been able to do more. You're supposed to really beat up the teams that are not playing great. But they put up 23 points against the Vikings. What did we put up against the Vikings? 24? Was it 27-24?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Memory serves me right. So both of our offenses were able to at least put up more than 20 against that defense. Clearly, that's something that we're going to have to do again this week. Here's Detroit. So Detroit 7-4, and we have the 4th ranked offense, 2nd scoring offense, 10th ranked defense, 11th in defensive scoring, and currently we are just out of the playoffs at number 8. Now the Lions, from what I see, I don't know where he got his numbers from. Defensive ranked 10th.
Did that game really drop us that far? I've been looking at the defensive rankings today. We were number 5 last week.
This was updated November 22nd. Let me re-update it.
I can't find any updated numbers. It still has the Packers at 6, the Lions at 5. I know it changed because we gave up 500 yards on defense.
Well, today's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So this might not come back out till Wednesday, but I'm not sure where he pulled those numbers from, but we'll roll with it.
Yeah,
so we dropped 5 spots.
Yeah.
Right. I'm less concerned about that, but we did add about 12 yards to our defensive rank. That was it. From going from 5 to 10, we added about 12. We had about 12, 13 yards. 22.1 points on defense. That needs to go down. We'll be back in the top 5. We made it, and we'll get back.
Hey, what did we say? I wanted a top 15 defense. That's all I cared about.
Yeah,
we're still top 15.
I wanted top 10, and I said we would get to top 5. We will get there. Team should never apologize for a win in this league with a short week and a monster matchup on Thursday. The Lions have turned the page and they are full attention towards the Packers. According to Tim Twentyman, Detroit will have to play a much better game on both sides of the line of scrimmage than they did in week 1. Good news for the Lions, though, heading into this game. The Lions' injury front is looking a lot better. Obviously, these guys are banged up. We know that. I mean, not every little injury is going to be reported. We have a ton of guys out, but Terry and Arnold returned to practice yesterday. The full injury report, I'm not finding one just yet. It might come out today. Oh, wait. I got one. All right, so Terry and Arnold, he was back at practice. Brian Branch was limited with an ankle. That's from last week. Marcus Davenport should be in this game. He's a full participant.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Decker limited with his shoulder. That's still ongoing.
That's surprising because the last couple of weeks he has not been a participant.
Who?
Taylor Decker. They've been holding him out of practice.
Well, he has to be limited. I mean, they're on a short week.
Yeah. But for him to be did not practice, I know this is an estimated practice report for yesterday because they didn't actually practice.
Walkthroughs.
Yeah, they had a walkthrough.
Yeah, but he has to be limited in any capacity this week because they don't have 4 days, before Friday.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just nice to see that he's not did not practice.
I got to look something up before I talk about the next guy.
Because we got a few of those that are surprising.
So Miles Frazier, this was the biggest talk of the town after the game on at least in our area. I didn't see Miles Frazier out there. Clearly, he wasn't out there. Is he going to be out there this week? Is Miles Frazier going to be up this week? So Dan Campbell has to make a decision on Miles Frazier and Josh Paschal this week, and I'm expecting both of them to be upgraded. I can't imagine that these guys would be downgraded. If we lose Josh Paschal for the season, that's huge. He hasn't played yet, but having starters as depth is big. Miles Frazier, I'm not jumping for joy here because he hasn't played. He hasn't played at all. He didn't go through training camp. He didn't do anything. So I'm less concerned if he doesn't make it.
Yeah, but fans are wondering if he's better than Awasika until we can get Mahogany back.
Definitively, no. He is not better than Awasika right now. I'm going to give you my 2026 prediction for our offensive line at the end of the day, but Graham Glasgow did not participate yesterday with a knee. Kirby Joseph did not participate with a knee. Josh Paschal, full participant. Tate Ratledge, limited with a knee. Khalif Raymond did not participate with an ankle. Which, if you remember, he was down on the sideline there after a catch and a wicked hit. Jacob Sailors, golly, Jacob Sailors, what an absolute animal he is. Did you see that WWE one arm whip of, I don't know who it was he threw to the ground. I don't know which giant it was, but that was insane. The dude's got biceps for days. What a good pickup. What a good pickup for the Lions. This guy's going to be a Lion for a while. Penei Sewell, limited with an ankle. Isaac Tesla, limited with a hand. And Sione Vaki, limited with an ankle and a thumb. Brock Wright suffered a neck injury. Brock Wright. I'm sorry, dude, but I have to say it. And I said it during the game. And people looked at me when I said it. Dumbest shit I've ever seen by a football player. Dude, you're going out of bounds. Why are you trying to dive and land on your head? Why? We have football games to win. You are the last tight end that we really have that's worth anything on this team. And you intentionally dive forward to land on your head. I thought he was done after that play. I thought for sure he was going to either have a concussion, a neck contusion, compression fracture, something. And he still played. I'm surprised he still played after that. You can't be doing that stuff. That's why this JMO jumping, doing flips into the end zone stuff, can't do it. The season is bigger than your stupid celebrations. Right? Keep your feet on the ground. Dan Campbell, I'm sorry, dude. You need to go put your foot down. You need to tell these guys the celebrations stay on the ground. No more jumping in the air. No more flips. You remember, was it DeAndre Levy that did the what was that? The thing back in the day with the State
Discount
Farm
double check.
discount double check and tore up his Achilles or something like that, or an ACL?
Yeah.
Just from doing a stupid celebration. So it can happen. It does happen. Don't do it. End it, Dan. Find them internally. You have to. You have to. It was Tulloch. I'm sorry. Not Levy. Tulloch.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's your injury report. That's your injury report for the day.
Yeah, the one that concerns me the most is Graham Glasgow. He did not practice yesterday, so if he cannot go, it's going to be Christian Cologne, and that one gives me some pause. Going up against the Packers, man, I would much rather have Glasgow. I know Glasgow's not having the best season, but the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
It's definitely not. It's brown. It's wintertime, man. That shit's in hibernation.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to our roster.
Because that's what's going to happen. If Glasgow can't go, we're going to go to Cologne. It will not be Tate Ratledge moving in yet.
Okay, so where is am I missing something? What happened to Kingsley?
Kingsley.
Did we I thought we let him go at one point, but I thought we brought him back.
He was on the practice squad, but maybe he's up down or something.
Well,
They don't show the practice squad anywhere on here, do they?
Yeah, they used to. It used to be on the Lions. It used to be on the Lions website, and I don't see it anymore.
No, it says roster, coaching staff members, transactions, injury
Well,
report.
it used to be under depth chart.
Well, let's look there.
It's not there. It's not there anymore.
No, offense, defensive, special teams. That's all it says.
All right, so I got to look at it a different way, which is, oh my God. Just look at our lads. Go to ourlads.com. I can't because I got ad blocking on and I can't look at it because they're stupid. I'm not paying for another subscription just to look at it.
All right. So we currently have 16 players: Miles Adams, Ronnie Bell, Jackson Meeks, Tom Kennedy, Zach Horton, Tristan Cologne, Dan Skipper, Mason Miller, Michael Neese, Keith Cooper, Isaac Ukwu, Anthony Pittman.
That doesn't sound right at all.
Eric Hallett, and Lauren Strickland. Oh, yeah, that's not right because it's got... No, dude, this is not right.
Are you in the right year?
Yeah, it must not be. What the heck?
I don't know. This is the one that always escapes me. Like I can never find an updated. Practice squad.
All right, here, let's see.
I guess I could go to the portal.
Okay, I found it. Okay. I found it. So, wide receiver Malik Cunningham.
Just go offensive line. Is Kingsley on there?
No, Matane Moody and Mason Miller.
Okay, so it is Christian.
Then,
it's going to be Cologne.
Oh, Kingsley Egukukwan, center. Yeah, he's on there.
So I'm surprised that he's, maybe they trust Cologne a little bit more than Kingsley. But Kingsley was supposed to be the backup center, but apparently it's Tristan Cologne now. I'm not really excited about Tristan Cologne. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm sure that Graham will be in. I'm almost positive he'll be in. I don't like having an injured player playing center, but is that, what side of the sword is that better? It's a double-edged sword. So is it better to have a player that can give you 80% or a player that is not as good as an 80% Graham Glasgow?
Yeah.
All right, so you got some 5 bold takes. We got 5 bold takes today. We also have your 5 and 5, right? You didn't go through your 5 and 5. So let's get into Eric's 5 reasons for the Detroit Lions and why they could win, why the Packers could win. And let's start. I got some too, so let's roll through it.
All right, so we're going to start with why the Packers could win this game, because I want to start with the bad stuff first, and then we'll get to the good stuff. The Micah Parsons effect versus an injured Lions O-line. To me, this is one of the biggest matchups on the field. The Packers added Micah Parsons to an already good front, and they are facing a Lions offensive line that could be missing quite a few players that we just went over, like Graham Glasgow, Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell are banged up. After a bunch of plays last weekend, I saw offensive linemen laying on the ground, and Parsons, well, he could single-handedly wreck this game. Now, I got a question. Micah Parsons against a backup guard or a hobbled tackle, it sounds like a nightmare. How many sacks does the Lions O-line give up before this game gets out of hand this weekend? What do you think about that, Will?
What's the question?
So if Micah Parsons ends up going up against a banged up Lions offensive line, how many sacks do you think he gets? And how many you think he has to get before the game really gets out of control?
How many sacks do I think that Micah Parsons will get this weekend? Or this on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, if the Lions are playing a couple of backups.
None.
Really?
None. It's not happening, dude. I mean, that's going to be one of my bigger, bolder takes, but
all right,
it's not happening. Parsons is going to be dealt with. I think that Dan Campbell grew up a lot since the Eagles game. I hope. I'm expecting, and the Packers game, I'm expecting something different this game. We'll just leave it at that.
All right. Green Bay's defense is peaking, and the Packers just held the Minnesota Vikings to 145 total yards last week. So their defense is currently ranked number 4 in the league and is playing championship level football. They are suffocating teams. And if the Lions offense sputters like it did in the first week, the Packers will bury them. So I got a question for you. The Packers just strangled the Vikings for 60 minutes. Is this the best defense in the NFC right now?
Say that one more time.
So the Packers, they just strangled the Vikings for 60 minutes. They're the number 4 defense in the league right now. Is this the best defense in the NFC right now?
No.
Not the NFC North, the NFC.
No. Nope. The best defense to be in the NFC right now is the Rams.
Okay. All right. Next up, Jordan Love. He was solid in the week 1 win over the Detroit Lions. Jordan Love completed passes to 10 different receivers. He didn't lock on to one guy, which made him incredibly hard to defend. And now the Lions secondary is still dealing with injuries with Terrion Arnold in the concussion protocol. Looks like he's going to be back. And Kirby Joseph being out. And Love is smart enough to find the weak link on just about every play. And he's always been a thorn in the side of the Lions defense, as he always seems to have his best games versus the Lions. And remember, his first pass on Thanksgiving 2 years ago was a bomb for a touchdown on the very first play of the game. So here's my question for Will. Jordan Love picked this secondary apart in week 1 by spreading the ball around. Do the Lions have the depth at cornerback this week to stop him from doing it again?
One more time. That was kind of long.
Okay. Jordan Love, he picked our secondary apart in week 1 by spreading the ball around to 10 different receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Lions have the depth at cornerback this week to stop him from doing it again?
Okay. Again, I'm gonna say that we learned a lot from week 1, and I think the Eagles game and how we were able to do certain things on defense is going to show up. I believe that the Lions are going to marry a little bit of the Ravens game, a little bit of the Eagles game against the Packers. Not to say that you have to worry about their run game, because I don't believe that their run game is great. But if they can't get the run going and they are forced to pass, that plays into our hand. If Aiden is trying to chase sacks, we're screwed. Okay, that's when this all falls apart.
Yeah.
Jordan Love has a good arm. He has good accuracy. I don't know I haven't dug into everything yet, but I don't know the health of the Packers wide receivers at this moment, like who's really banged up, who's having a good, couple of weeks here, who were the star players for him in the game against Minnesota. I'm digging into that, later on this afternoon. I was in treatment all day yesterday, so
yeah. Christian Watson is their go-to guy right now. Dobbs is kind of falling off.
Where I'll wrap it up is with this. I'll just say that Kirby Joseph should be back. Terrion Arnold's going to be back. And when you have DJ Reed back, okay, so when you insert those guys back into this defense, I'm hoping that Kelvin Shepherd is smart enough to say, I'm not going to go full tilt with those guys. I want to bring in a little bit of rotation. And they probably won't do that. But if it were me, I'd say go get your feet wet, go in for a few snaps, come out. What's going on? How do you feel? What are you seeing? What are you not seeing? How are you performing? Look at what some of the other guys are doing. Then go back in for a few more snaps. Kind of rotate one in and one out at a time so that we keep guys fresh, get them in, get them used to it so they don't get burned, right? Because they have to get the game speed again. You've been out several weeks. He needs to get the game. Talking about Kirby, he needs to get the game speed again. I don't want to see Kirby getting beat deep in the single high safety. If they go single high safety in this game, I'll be pissed. Because, we'll do it a little bit, but if it's our primary look and we're putting everybody out on a freaking island, it's not how you beat the Packers. I'm sorry. It's just not. You're going to have to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You got to mix a little bit of man under. And if they can do that, then we can shut them down. We absolutely can. We have the guys that can do it. The Legion of Whom, we have a couple of guys in the Legion of Whom that can play. Thomas Harper can play. But he also gets beat in single high safety. That's not for him. All right, Kirby Joseph is more rangy, but Kirby also gets beat in single high safety at times, where he's also late, where Jameis Winston picked us apart on a couple of plays. Kirby fails at those plays too. So it's not the players so much to me that is the problem. It's the scheme. And I think that that's where Kelvin Shepherd have had this game circled on the schedule since before the season. And he better make the adjustments to this game than what we did in week one. Whatever we did in week one didn't work. Can't do it. You have to do something different. So I want to see a little bit more zone look in this game, bracketing these guys. And if we do that, then our front 4 or 5 guys can shut the run down. And if you can bracket Watson, then this is a different game. Are you worried about the run game at all?
Me?
Yeah.
It depends if Jacobs is in or not.
How long are you on today?
I can go as long as I want.
All right. So to Rob E's and John Desage, I don't know if you're still in, John. I apologize.
Yeah, let us get through this.
Yeah, we'll get through this. We're gonna I'll open up the phone lines. We'll finish this and we'll open up the phone lines right after.
Yeah, and then we'll get to our crazy takes at the end.
Yeah.
So this will be a quick one here. So the Packers, they know they can beat the Detroit Lions because they did it in week 1 and they did it decisively. So that gave them a psychological advantage. And while the Lions are pressing to prove themselves, the Packers can play free, knowing that their scheme works against this specific Detroit Lions roster. So my question is, does having a 14-point win over a team earlier in the season give your team a psychological advantage going into the next game against that same team?
Does what give them a psychological advantage?
Having a 14-point win, like a dominating win earlier in the year.
Yeah, it can. But I think that they know as well as any other team that, this is a different team now. Week 1, I think everybody understands that the first 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks of an NFL season are not what your team should be halfway through the season. It definitely shouldn't be what your team is in the last quarter of the season. You're going through a ramp up period. We got caught with our pants down in week 1 because Week 1 and 2 are the toughest times to play any opponent. That is where you see the biggest upsets, in my opinion, is week 1 and 2. 1, you don't have tape really of what those guys are doing this year. You have to go based on what they did last year. And a lot's changed year over year. So you have that. And then you know, where are you at health-wise, you know, on your offense and defense? We started with new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator in week 1. Not to say that the coordinators are necessarily the problem, but the new scheme, learning everything. Now you're going live against another team. A lot's changed since then. This defense is playing really good. Borderline great at times. And I think that this is going to be a defensive game for the Lions where we're going to try to go and inflict pain on these dudes. And I don't mean pain like injury pain. I mean shut them down. The Lions want to shut these guys down. They don't want to walk out of this game with a bad taste in their mouth. They can't have this game go into overtime. They can't have this game go deep into the fourth quarter. They have to get up and win early. And that's going to take us in the stands making sure that we are behind this team from the first snap. And you can't let it go. In the Giants game, we kind of let it go until mid-fourth quarter. I wouldn't say me, but it wasn't what it should be. We have to stay on it. They require our energy. But to your point, to your question, I think it would give anybody a little bit of confidence, but they should know this is a different team.
Mm-hmm. All right, my last one, why the Packers could win. Could the Lions have a hangover from the physical overtime game the Lions just played in? It was a grueling overtime game against the Giants on Sunday where they had to fight for 70-plus minutes. Now they have to turn around and play on Thursday on Thanksgiving, and that physical toll is real. While the Packers, they coasted to a relatively easy defensive win, fatigue could really show up in the fourth quarter. And I don't know if you got to see Matt LaFleur's press conference after that game.
Which one?
After the Vikings game.
Yeah, he was watching the Lions.
He was watching the Lions. I thought that was pretty funny.
I was trying to pull it in. I couldn't find it.
I should have got it. But he stopped his press conference basically to watch the end of the game. And they asked him, "Oh, do you want us to stop asking questions?" "Yeah, just give me a second." He's watching the end of the game. So a question for everybody is this. The Lions just played 5 quarters of physical football 3 days ago. Will they simply run out of gas in the second half against a fresh Packers team? What do you guys think? Do the guys have enough in the tank to do it all over again just 4 days later?
They're going to have to. They don't have a choice. They got to suit up, man. They got to go to work. I just hope that there's no, sickness. We haven't heard a lot about it, illness yet. It's been kind of a light year for illness, which is thank God. But usually this is when illness creeps in and people start getting sick and
be one of those games where the whole locker room gets sick or something.
Yeah, you hate that.
All right. Well, we're going to get into why I think the Detroit Lions are going to win now. This is going to be a lot more fun and a lot more exciting. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's coming off a career-defining performance against the Giants, where he posted over 260 scrimmage yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 through the air. The Packers held him in check back in week 1, but he's playing with a different level and a chip on his shoulder. He's got so much confidence. He's totally explosive now, and he can wreck a game plan. So this is my question. With that being said, do you think the Packers can actually stop Jahmyr Gibbs again like they did in week 1, or is he just inevitable at this point?
Question one more time is, do I think that the Packers can stop Jahmyr Gibbs?
Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah.
No. Look, the Giants have just as good of a defensive front as what the Packers do. They just haven't clicked. And they clicked. Sorry, I'm going to rub it in again. I told y'all last week. All they had to do was click. And you're coming up against an offensive line that has been battered and bruised and not playing well. and giving all they got. But Taylor Decker's been injured since week 1. He was injured before that. Penei Sewell has had a couple of, nicks and cuts here and bruises, right? But his pass pro's falling apart. Graham Glasgow's on an island between whoever's a left guard, and then Tate Ratledge, a rookie. Tate Ratledge is bipolar of a player as they get. One game it's crazy good, the next game it's what happened. So he's all over the place. Coyote Owasika is a backup for a reason, and he's not a good one. If there's one thing that I really dislike about Brad Holmes, it is that he hasn't done enough to secure the offensive line. And I know a lot of people want to talk about the edge. I'm sorry, it's the offensive line. That is the engine of this team. It always has been. And when that engine has got a knock, right? You've got something loose. You can't just change the oil and it's all better. You got to go in and you got to start ripping shit apart and you got to replace some pieces. And Brad didn't do that. He didn't do it. I think Frank Ragnow screwed us up, but now we are what we are, where we are in week what are we, 13 now? 12? 12? It is what it is. They have to find a way to win. And they have to find a way to work together. I think it's scheme. It's all scheme for me.
All right. So next, the Ford Field home advantage. And the revenge factor, I think both of these things will help propel the Lions to a win this Thursday at Ford Field. The Lions were embarrassed by the Packers 27-13 in week 1 and the last time that they played the Packers on Thanksgiving. The last time the Lions beat the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving. Can anyone tell me when that was?
Say that again.
The last time that the Lions beat the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving.
Wasn't that just 2 seasons ago?
Nope.
Or was that
2
the
seasons
Bears?
ago, we got our butt kicked.
Who did we play on Thanksgiving last year?
The Bears.
Oh, that's right. It was the Bears.
Yeah, we beat them on the last second place. So it was.
It had to be at least like 10, 11 years ago.
That is a while ago. It was November 28th of 2013. And the Detroit Lions beat the Packers, who were 5-5-1, 40-10. Okay. So the Detroit Lions view Thanksgiving as a holiday that is their tradition. And don't forget about that Ford Field home crowd. And Dan Campbell will have his team playing with their hair on fire to avenge that early loss in week 1 and jump the Packers in the division standings. Now, Dan Campbell has this team motivated by revenge, but does that emotion help them, or does it lead to mistakes against a stingy Packers team? Do you think having revenge on their mind could lead to mistakes against the Packers?
No, I don't think the Lions swing that way.
All right. Now, number 3, why I think the Detroit Lions could win. Green Bay's star running back Josh Jacobs is dealing with a knee injury and is listed as questionable. He missed last week's win versus the Minnesota Vikings. If he is out or limited, the Packers offense loses its physical edge. Emmanuel Wilson filled in for Josh Jacobs, and he rushed 28 times for 107 yards and had 2 rushing touchdowns versus Minnesota. He also had 2 receptions for 18 yards. The Lions boast a top 5 run defense and can force Jordan Love to be one-dimensional if they don't have to respect the run. Now, if Josh Jacobs can't go or is on a pitch count, does Green Bay have any player or any prayer of moving the ball consistently against this Lions run front, or do you think Wilson has a big day?
Wilson?
Yep, Emmanuel Wilson is their running back that filled in last week. He got 107 yards on 28 touches last week. Do you think he could have a big day against the Lions' run defense?
No. But where is Josh Jacobs?
He's questionable. He didn't play last week because of a knee injury.
Yeah, he probably didn't play last week because they wanted him for this week.
Yeah.
Is my guess. Look, they're banged up.
Yep.
I mean, when you look at the Packers roster right now, they're banged up. Their guard, Aaron Banks, he's been battling stuff. He's been on vet rest too. Carl Brooks, one of their better defensive linemen, he's been banged up with an ankle injury. Javon Bullard, their safety, been battling an ankle injury. Adrian Cooper, linebacker, has been battling a foot injury, even though he's been a full participant. Romeo Dobbs has had a wrist injury. Matthew Golden, shoulder and wrist. Nate Hobbs, their premier corner, was out last week with a knee. Josh Jacobs, we just mentioned, battling a knee injury. He was limited last week, but didn't play, right? He's questionable.
Josh Jacobs.
He's questionable right now.
Yep.
Jordan Love, he's fine. He got a left shoulder injury. I don't really care about their kicker. Bo Melton, corner's got a shoulder injury. He's a full participant, though, last week. Keeson Nixon, corner's got an illness last week. Mike Parsons has a pec injury. Rumor swirling, how bad is it? How bad is the pec injury? Is he playing through a grade 1 tear right now that could explode on him? So I think that could become a problem, and that is why I want the Lions to lean on the run game. You need to run right at him. You need to get right at Micah Parsons. A lot of teams would run away from him. I'm going to run right at him, and I'm going to do that early. I'm going to try to pound him, and we're going to try to. I know you don't want people to get injured, but that's how you take advantage of teams. If you've got guys that are injured, you take advantage of it. All right, if he's dealing with, a pectoral injury that could explode on him, well, David Montgomery needs to just go finish him off. And again, I don't want him to get injured. I'm just saying you got to wear him down. And when it hurts, it hurts. And if you can't tackle right or wrap up the way that you normally do, that's how you win the rep. I don't want the guy to get any more injured. It's just you want him to get sore enough to where it hurts, to where he can't tackle. He can't make the tackle physically. Jaden Reed's got an issue too with his foot. I mean, the list goes on. Quay Walker, has got a neck injury. He's doubtful. Christian Watson last week had a knee injury. He was a full participant, though. He played, obviously. So plenty of injuries last week. And they had 20 players or 18 players, whatever it was on their injury report.
Yeah.
So quite a bit.
Yep.
Now this week, kind of the same thing. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 16. 16 players again. Couple less than last week, but 16 players. Lions right behind them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 15, but 3 of those players are IR guys, that are just getting back. So, and Terry and Arnold that didn't play, and Kirby Joseph that have been out. So really, we have about 9 guys. And Taylor Decker's still on there. It's really about 8 guys. But anyway, what else you got?
Yeah. So number 4, I got Jared Goff is a statistically much different quarterback at Ford Field than, let's say, at the Eagles Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Outdoors, away from home. We got this 3-game stand now where the Lions are at home, and Jared Goff looked much better. Still had a little bit of pressure, got sacked 3 times against the Giants. And while the Lions' offensive line is banged up, Jared Goff's ability to get the ball up quickly to Amon-Ra St. Brown and his pass catchers in the comfortable conditions of Ford Field gives them a passing efficiency advantage that they didn't have in the elements on the road. And my question is this: with our offensive line battered up, they're battered and bruised, can Goff stay comfortable enough this weekend against the Pack to pick them apart when they need to, if the running game doesn't get going?
The run game's going to get going, Eric.
Well, I'm just saying, do you think that Goff can maybe do some dinking and dunking and pick these guys apart?
I don't want to see any dinking and dunking.
What if he throws a bomb to J-Mo first pass of the game, just like they did to us 2 years ago? Wouldn't that be sweet revenge right there?
That would be great.
Bomb to J-Mo on the first play of the game. That's going to be one of my bold predictions.
I just want to see, like mine was last week, was the same thing. It's funny. So, I just want to see the team go in and play a complete game. That's all I'm asking for the Lions.
Yeah.
I just want to see him go in and play a complete game, that they don't get too far left or too far right. You just stay right down the center. You aim for that center pin. You get to the damn sticks. We're not freelancing. We're not chasing stats. Win the freaking game. I don't care if it's by 1 point. Obviously, I'm going to have a heart attack probably by the third quarter if it's going that way, but it's win. Stats be damned. Do your job. Get the run game going. Look, the run game wasn't really going for Jahmyr Gibbs against the Giants. It really wasn't. When you look at it, I mean, let me add this up real quick. So he had 49, 49, and 69. 167 of his yards on 3 plays. Minus, what was that, 219 on the day? So he had 52 yards on 12 plays. He was averaging 4.3 yards per carry. And then he pops 3. So the run game, yeah, 4.3, that's a good number. It's a great number. But if he had just had, 4.3 yards per carry times 15 carries, he would have ended up with 4.3 times 15. It would have been 65 yards. So it wasn't working necessarily, but he popped a couple. 3. That's the difference in this game. It may not look like it's working, but eventually they know what they're setting up, and eventually he's going to find that lane, and he's going to be able to make it happen. I was trying to go back and watch his runs this morning while I was doing some work on Aiden while you were talking. I was going in and getting all of Aiden's doubles and chips and wins and
gotcha.
And losses and all that stuff, because I'm going to do something a little bit later today. But I was trying to look at what he did, and I remember one of the first ones that he popped. To me, it looked like that run was going to the right, and it closed up in a hurry, and I mean, flash of a second, and he bounces to the left and found that lane, man, and Baby Barry was off to the races. That is the type of Jahmyr Gibbs I'm excited to see develop. So far, I think what we've witnessed out of Jahmyr Gibbs is following his blockers, following the assignment, going where the ball's supposed to go, win or lose or draw. The difference with Jahmyr is what we just witnessed. He can move one way or the other and find a different avenue and go. David Montgomery, I don't see that out of him. David seems to hit the hole, follow the hole, do what he's supposed to do, win, lose, or draw. I can't tell you how many times I say, man, the whole left side of the field was wide open. All you had to do was go left. But you got blinders on and you're going forward, as opposed to surveying the field like Barry could do with that wide vision that he had. And he could see something wasn't right on the left side or the right side, and he would just bounce, cut, and go. Jahmyr did that this last weekend. He saved this game. Without those 3 runs, without that vision of him, and some good blocking up, ahead of him, those things don't happen. But those 3 runs were largely all Gibbs. I know that he's going to give credit to the offensive line. He found the hole, man. He found the hole, especially on that one run. I just don't remember which one it was. I'll dial it up here in a minute. How much more you got left?
Yeah, so that's it for that. One thing from Trace, I just got in the mods chat, and she put up a post from Dave Burkett on X
about Lomas.
Yeah, so finally, Lomas Brown, the ex-Detroit Lions offensive tackle, is a Hall of Fame semifinalist. So all that hype that the Detroit Lions have been trying to put behind Lomas Brown finally got him in as a finalist.
Well, he's made it. He's made it to the semifinals now.
Yes,
So yeah,
he's got to get picked.
Yeah, he's at the next level now.
That's the farthest he's made it, though.
He deserves it, man. He's such a good dude. Lomas deserves it. I want to see.
I'd really like to see Jason. Myself, I'd like to see Jason Hansen in there.
So it is so hard for kickers to get in there, and I think what happens is, over time, I think kickers kind of get drowned out because of what they did 20 years ago. And now these kickers today are just kind of like doing it like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
You know, that's I think they get overshadowed that way.
Well, yeah, because these kickers now, they've been kicking a football since they were 4 years old, and their dad's having them kick in an NFL style, you know, the old soccer kick, whatever, from the time they're a little kid. They're doing it. Where back when Jason Hansen and them were doing it, they were just kicking a normal way, and they were the NFL teams that choose a soccer player and say, "Hey, let's get this guy to kick field goals for us." You know, it wasn't something new. Or it was something new back then. Now it's not.
So one last thing, phone lines are open, but one last thing. Marcus Davenport just reported a little bit ago on Costa and Jansen. Quote by Dan Campbell. We are hopeful. We are hopeful. He looked really good last week. We're getting him through, getting him some walkthrough reps. We did yesterday. We're getting him some today. Marcus Davenport should be up versus the Packers.
Nice.
So they're hopeful, right? So another quote by Dan said, "We'll see. It's just a matter of us saying, all right, is he ready for this? Not being in a practice setting this week, getting ready to go. Now he did last week, and that's ultimately what it'll come down to. How does he feel? Does he feel like he can do this? And is he ready to go? Does he need one more week to get ready for Dallas?" So we're still talking about all of that, but I do like where he's at for sure. It would be nice to see him get in and get a few reps. I don't think it would hurt us. I wouldn't say you throw him out there in a starting position, but I think that you do need to get him some reps. Absolutely. All right, Robbie's is on the line, man. What's happening? Good morning.
Morning, fellas. How you guys doing today?
Doing better than you. Just kidding. How are you?
I just come from the doctor, so you probably are. I gotta go for another operation.
Oh no!
No.
They finally they're gonna put the brain back in. What are they doing?
Probably, but I think they're gonna start a little lower on my shoulder first.
Oh man, that sucks, brother. I wish you nothing
Maybe
but the
they'll
best.
work their way up. Thank you.
All right, so what's on your mind, man? Can we beat the Packers? Uh-oh.
Yes and no.
Uh-oh.
Yes, we can beat the Packers. I think we can do what the Eagles did to them. The defensively, anyways. I mean, that's a different team than we faced week one. No Tucker Kraft, which he gashed us huge week one. I mean, Jalen Reed caught a good catch for a TD, but without Tucker Kraft roaming around the middle of that field and streaking up the sidelines like he does, or up the seam, that puts a lot of strain on those wide receivers to generate their offense. I think we have the best defensive line in football.
Yeah.
I think we could literally march out 3 DTs like we did on against the Eagles multiple times, 3 DTs and Aiden Hutchinson. We did that a couple times against the Giants, 3 DTs and Aiden Hutchinson on the D-line, and just let those boys go to work, crash the line, cause as much havoc as they possibly can to stop the running back before he gets to the second and third level. It was very successful against the Eagles. I mean, how many teams can brag? We stood the push up multiple times in a game.
Yeah.
Very few. I think there's only one team who did it more than 2 times in a game, and that's Detroit.
You know what? Hold on, Ross. So the 3 DTs, when I was going through tape last night, I don't remember exactly where it was. I have all these written down, but we did a couple of 3 DT looks against Jameis Winston and the Giants. I was surprised.
Yes, we did.
I missed it.
We actually enrolled it first against the Eagles.
Yeah.
When I first noticed it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we did it a couple weeks earlier, but we didn't. But I really enjoy that look. I think it creates a lot of stress on the guards and tackles. Not so much the center, but on the guards and tackles, it creates a lot of stress. It doesn't let guards loop in behind the tackle to basically wrap up Aiden Hutchinson, because I noticed through the first 6 weeks, a lot of teams were doing that. They would drop the guard behind the tackle, and the tackle would push inside and move Aleem or whoever our number one DT was. They would move him towards the center, so you got a tackle and a center on one DT, and the guard would drop in behind and basically with their long ass arms, because, you know, guards got to have long arms, they would be able to neutralize Aiden sooner and faster and basically corral him into kind of not a bear hug, but corral them within their grasp. So that's why Aiden Hutchinson was not quite as effective for the last little bit, I see. I also noticed, I know you've been piping up this man quite a bit, but Graham Glasgow, he's really, really killing us. I mean, you can say we got a rookie guard in Tate Radledge, and we got Christian Mahogany and whoever plays behind him stepping up as a depth piece to be our new starter. But the protection detail revolves around the center. The nucleus of your O-line revolves around the center. If your guards aren't doing what they're supposed to do, that falls on the center. And too often we see Graham Glasgow right off the snap. He's not getting that initial burst off the snap. He's kind of sitting back and he's getting pushed backwards. He's not commanding his space and engaging as quickly off the snap. And if the nucleus of your O-line is falling apart, it all revolves around the center. We need a new center.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If we can't get a new center, which we can't get a new center right now, at least not a starting caliber one to replace Graham Glasgow. So what we have is what we have. I think we need to take Dan Skipper and put him in there at fullback.
There we go.
If we're running,
That'd be awesome.
if we're running three wide receivers, screw the tight end, let the wide receivers work, put Monty back there, put Dan Skipper at fullback, and let him run right up the middle to support Graham Glasgow. Now we're neutralizing that DT. That's getting that immediate push on Graham.
Yeah,
we're helping Graham.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not, Skip, because he's a bit slow. I mean, you could do it with Brock Wright. You could do it with Malcolm Rodriguez. I mean, we've had Malcolm back there before. There's other guys that we could at least utilize, and I think what you're pointing to here is that Dan Campbell needs to mix up the protections to put us in a best position to win. And instead of trying to go out there and say, my man is better than your man, or I'm going to be just, stubborn and I'm only going to go, a 5-man protection as opposed to getting into 6 and 7-man protection. I think that's a big fault of his, and I don't think he's going to do that this week. Let me back up 1 second, though. I wanted to share something when you were talking about the 3 DTs. There was also another play that I was baffled by, and I just happened to have this one still up on my screen. So you remember when Jameis Winston tossed that deep pass for 39 yards? It was fourth quarter, 5:36, 3rd and 17, and they dial up that deep shot down the left side where we had 2 defensive ends and Aleem McNeil. Aleem was in the middle. El Kadeen was on the right. Aiden was on the left. We did a little bit of a twist with the linebacker, and Aiden on this play almost got to Jameis Winston, but he was getting throat held, and then he got held again, and then Jameis leaks out to the left side, dials up a pass, and they complete it. Thomas Harper a little bit late. But I wanted to at least say one thing here. They've been mixing up a little bit of 3-man front looks, and I love it. This one, it didn't work on us. This play made my NFL rig video that I'm going to do today because Aiden was literally choked, hand to his throat, not once, but twice on this play, right in front of the ref, not called. So I do give Aiden a little bit of credit that he goes through some stuff that's not called. But anyway, to digress, I love the 3-man looks that we're starting to use. We just got to use it in a better space.
Aiden gets a lot of flack that's not deserved. He's playing his butt off this year. He's playing his tail off. You were giving high praise to Jordan Mailata as one of the best pure pass blocking tackles in the league. There's about 4 plays against the Eagles where Aiden cleanly beat Jordan Mailata on the inside. He hit him with a swim, fake outside, swim inside, completely cleanly beat him. He hit him a spin. He hit him with a power rush inside on the inside shoulder. And when Jordan Mailata gets beat, he kind of does what he did to Alex Anzalone on one of our big runs, or one of Barkley's big runs, where he takes the linebacker and redirects him, but he's holding him to redirect him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which freed Saquon Barkley to run up the field for like a 16-yard gain, but they caught that and they called it back. Jordan Mailata does a lot of bear hugging. Once he gets beat on the inside, in between those guards and that QB, Jalen Hurts is a big quarterback, so sometimes it's hard to see around him. When those guys beat him on the inside, he bear hugs them. He grabs them, he holds them right where they are. They can't go nowhere. They can't throw their arms up because he's got their arms. He's holding them in place with a giant bear hug, and that's a big man. He wraps his arms around you. There's not a whole lot you can do or flail or show, especially with the rest of the guys moving around you. So I've seen that a number of times against the Eagles where he got away with that, and that needs to be addressed because it's not something that's something they're being told to do. If they get flagged for it, fine, but at least the quarterback's not getting hit. And most of the time it goes unnoticed. Now, the one thing I wanted to bring up is you kind of talked about my point already with Jahmyr Gibbs had an average game against the Giants. And I say average lightly because I am aware he had those 3 big runs. But like you brought up earlier, and I was going to bring this up, he had 167 yards on 3 catches, or 3 runs. He also had another 49-yard catch or 47-yard catch to add his yards on the ground. He had 4 yards carry without those runs.
Yeah.
Although you look at that and you're like, that's an impressive day. Is it when you're running the ball for 12, 13 times and you're only getting 60 yards on the ground? Now, you plug Montgomery in that same situation, and I disagree with you. Monty's making at least 2 of those runs. He may not be scoring a TD, but he's gashing the defense for 50 yards, 35 yards. He's not getting 49 or 67, 69 yards, but he's getting 35 and he's getting 50 at least. Monty's not that big, but when Montgomery came over to Detroit, one of the things he said when he got here is he was asked about our O-line and what it'd be like to run behind these guys.
Yeah.
And he just looked at the media and he said money. Money. Okay.
We got to get back. We got to get back to being money is what we need to do.
I understand that. Yes, we 100% do. However, Montgomery's experience running behind bad O-line in Chicago is extremely valuable in this situation because our O-line isn't playing that great. Our nucleus of our O-line, to bring back to my original point, isn't playing that great. Monty has that quick feet. He can break arm tackles from DTs. He can get upfield. Mm-hmm. He had about 4 or 5 runs against the Giants to where he ran into a wall of people. Giants and Lions. He ran into a wall because that's where the run was going. You said he follows his blockers? Absolutely. He follows his blockers. But he ran into a wall and he got 5 or 6 yards off that run. Because when he hits that wall, everybody falls forward.
No, I
He doesn't have
100%,
happy-
yeah, 100% agree with you on
He hits his cuts.
yeah,
He
100%
hits
agree
his
with you on
cuts.
Monty.
He makes a hole. We have young, inexperienced linemen. We need to give the ball to the guy who's experienced at running behind young, inexperienced linemen. And Monty has that experience. There's no doubt in my mind Jahmyr Gibbs is going to become one of the most electric running backs in the league. He's going to be the best running back in the league in due time. He doesn't have that experience in running behind inexperienced linemen. What did he have at Alabama? Good linemen.
Probably the best.
What did he have when he first came to Detroit? We had one of the best linemen in the league. What do we have now? Our O-line is starting to fall apart a little without proper talent to filter in behind. We don't have that good O-line. That's where Jahmyr Gibbs is struggling. You're going to see the flash in the pan every so often because he's that talented. He's that speed back. He's going to find a hole, right? Monty doesn't find a hole. He makes a hole.
Yeah, see, but that's
and if he can't.
So, Raw, hold on. That's where I think that I would like Monty to do something a little bit different because, and I love how Monty runs. I love that he attacks and he's not afraid to push the pocket. And I 100% or push the line of scrimmage. I 100% agree with you there. Monty always is falling forward. He's always scraping for another 2, 3, 4, 5 yards on a play. Love that about Monty. Absolutely is going to be needed in this game too. However, I think that's where what you were just saying. I want to see him get a little bit more left or right, have that vision to, okay, it's closing up. I need to go somewhere else instead of just pounding the line, and getting a couple yards. He should bounce it. And he doesn't do it enough. Maybe he doesn't have enough bounce in speed, which he's not Gibbs, but he's still plenty fast. He's still plenty fast. I think he could bounce it a little bit more.
I agree with you. And I actually had this debate at the start of the season. I was talking to a couple of my buddies, and I was like, "Who's the best power backs in the league?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're your typical answers: Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if you ask Monty that, he's gonna be pissed.
Oh, absolutely, he's going to be pissed because he doesn't see himself as a power back.
He doesn't.
But how many running backs in the league are 5'10"? And 235 pounds.
Yeah, he's a bowling ball, man. I call him a sledgehammer for a reason.
He's 100% is a bowling ball. Now, I get going east and west to find the hole, but what's the fastest way to get up the field?
North.
A straight line.
Yeah.
You just got to go forward. And once you get past the line of scrimmage, which Monty does quite frequently, once he knows he's past that DT line, then he starts sidestepping, juking and jiving, and he's hitting those linebackers with those finesse moves. But in order to get past those DTs, you need that power. And Monty, whether he wants to admit it or not, knows he's got that power.
Let me pause you.
It's not about.
Yeah, let me pause you real quick because I will in just a second. Go ahead and finish your thought, but I do want to pause you for just one moment after your thought. I want to show this run. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do it because this is an insane run by Jahmyr Gibbs. This is that vision, and he went right through the A gap. I didn't notice this during the game. I just rewatched it again. It's insane. But finish your thought, and then I'll pause you.
Monty hits the holes with power. Once he gets past the holes, he uses his legs with the finesse that it takes to get by the linebackers and the safeties. If he's one-on-one with a cornerback, he's using that stiff arm. He's putting his helmet down. He's running over dudes. He knows when to use his feet, and he knows when to use the muscle. That's where Jahmyr Gibbs is not incorporating into his game. Jahmyr Gibbs is a great back, and he has power. We just don't see it often enough because he's too busy using his legs. And I really, 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 as much as everybody else, I would absolutely be crushed if Jahmyr Gibbs got hurt because he's not throwing a stiff arm out there and trying to juke while a DT or big linebackers coming across, east and west from the blind side, and he gets a crack block or crack tackled.
All right, so let's
by
watch
somebody like.
Yeah, so I'm gonna watch this play real quick. I'm gonna bring up Jahmyr Gibbs, one of his big runs.
Yep.
And this is an incredible. And when we come back, I'd like to get maybe a couple of takes from you on how the Lions can win, who should have a big game against the Packers, and then yeah, here we go.
I want to put something into.
Yeah, no, I got you. Of course. Here we go. Jahmyr Gibbs. This was 49 yards. Fourth quarter, 11 minutes in. Just watch how he sees the middle and the jump cuts that he makes. Just insane. Stiff. I mean, just insane how he saw this. Go back one more time. Look at the blocking. This is when our Lions can come alive. Like this, he didn't have to jump anywhere. Easy work. Go ahead, Eric. What were you going to say?
So I went back and looked at David Montgomery's best game this year. I want you guys to not forget about JMO as Lions fans. Listen, against the Ravens, David Montgomery had 12 carries. Jahmyr Gibbs had 22 carries. What if I told you that David Montgomery had 151 yards with an average of 12.6 with 2 touchdowns and a long of 72 yards, while Jahmyr Gibbs had 22 rushes for 67 yards with a 3-yard average and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you said David Montgomery, then not forget about JMO or Demo?
Don't forget about David Montgomery.
I got you.
And Gibbs, Gibbs, he had 22 carries that game. He's getting 3 yards average. He's still got 2 touchdowns. But David Montgomery, he had that big, long 72-yarder. Gibbs' longest one that day was only 9 yards. And that was a game where Gibbs got 10 more carries than David Montgomery did. So David Montgomery, every once in a while, he can have a big game as well. So don't sleep on Demo.
No, I definitely don't sleep on Demo. It's just for whatever reason, our blocking has not been good enough all the time to where I think that Demo maybe needs a little bit more of help if he's going to break one. Gibbs, I think, can break him more on his own. But in this instance, 2 of these long runs, pure blocking, great technique, good vision. Obviously, he hit the right hole at the right time, but you can't beat speed. Demo, when he gets a really good set of blocks, he can do some damage too. But it's also when the blocking is not up to par that I think that Raw is trying to emphasize here, that's when Demo really helps this team win, because he pushes that line forward, right? He pushes the wall forward, and he always fights forward. All right, Rob, give us a couple of takes here on what the Lions need to do to win in this game, and if you have any bold takes or anything you'd like to add.
To win this game, we need to supplement Graham Glasgow. He just needs help to avoid that initial push on the line of scrimmage right away, so he's not worried about making a clean snap to the quarterback, and he doesn't give up necessary ground. I think we need to stay healthy, like Trace just said in the chat. I think we need to limit. Let's face it. What would Minnesota do against us? They crashed through the middle of the O-line, right through that nucleus. That's how they beat us. What did Green Bay beat us with? They crashed through the middle of that O-line. They crashed through that nucleus. The Eagles, they diverted some of their pass rush and looked to get into recognizable passing lanes based off formations that we were in, and they were just worried about making sure that ball never got by them. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter did the same thing on design passing plays. They made sure they were in the passing lanes. They weren't worried about crashing in. They made sure they were in the passing lanes, and they got their mitts up. I love that Graham Glasgow made Jordan Davis pay for jumping in the air. That one play early in the game, he put him on his back hard. I know that man felt it because he's a big man crashing down in between the shoulder blades. But we need more of that when guys look to jump up and start batting balls down. We need our O-line to be supported as much as possible, especially right now because we're trying to make a push. I think we need to get more of David Montgomery in the backfield because I don't want to see Jahmyr Gibbs get hurt, and I don't want to see Jahmyr Gibbs in on passing plays where he's forced to pass block a linebacker coming downhill at him who may be bigger than him. I need David Montgomery in there. I need 235 pounds, not 215 in that situation. You need a lower center of gravity. You need to be able to provide that oomph to stop these guys dead in their tracks and say, you're not touching Jared Goff. Let the man operate like he does. Don't let the defensive pass rush ruin our game plan. We need to dictate our game to them, not let them dictate how we move the ball against them.
There you go. I like that right there, man. That's a big key. We have to dictate the terms in this game. This is just like a big negotiation, man, but there's no negotiating. I like that. Absolutely.
Alrighty. You guys, I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time. You guys have a great morning.
Hey,
Love
always
your
a pleasure,
show.
man.
Oh, that's great.
Always a pleasure. You should email me your address, man. I'd like to send you some coffee.
I appreciate it.
right.
Unfortunately, I don't drink coffee. Tea only.
All right, I'll send you some tea or whatever. I'll send you something. All right, Rod. Take care, man. Have a good day. Go
All right.
Lions.
You have a great day.
All right, buddy.
Go
We'll,
Lions.
we'll see you. All right, that was Rob E, man, on the phone. Now I've got a little text thing that I've got here, so when we get callers on, I can change the name. All right, so Eric, we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna get into these 5 bold takes. Is there anything else you want to get into before we get into that?
No, I'm about to get crazy on you. That's all I can say.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go. Couple of things
You
I
might
want
like it, you might not.
couple of things I want to get into before we get there. So Thanksgiving showdown, man. Packers, we need to kick them in the teeth, right? We have to kick them in the teeth. And we can't let up. I like that statement that we have to dictate the terms in this game. I think that's perfectly said. What do the Lions do well? When we are balanced, we are one of the most explosive and balanced offenses in the league. Ranking 5th in total offense, 6th in scoring. This is an offense. Those numbers might not be right now, but this is an offense that can dictate the terms. If Jared Goff is clean. No, I don't want to hear the BS that Jared Goff can only work under a clean pocket because he's proven it time and time again that he can play in any conditions, in any weather, anywhere. He doesn't care. From the grass to the concrete to the gym, he don't give a shit. Jared Goff has had enough. We have players like Amon-Ra St. Brown that need to step up in this game. Once again, last week, I still can't believe I got that call right, that I said he was going to have 9 catches. He was going to be a big part of the game. He has to do it all over again. But these Packers are going to try to take him away. It's exactly what they're going to try to do. And the only way you can take away Amon-Ra St. Brown is if you can take away the run game. If the run game is working and the play pass gets moving, you can't take Amon-Ra St. Brown out of the game. So he's going to have to be in it to win at this game. We're going to need a big game out of Amon-Ra St. Brown. And the Lions need to exploit the middle of the field. Green Bay's linebacker core has struggled in coverage against receiving backs and slot receivers. And that's where I would hope that at some point we can get Jahmyr Gibbs more involved. We did this last weekend to the tune of, 49-yard reception by Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know if that one went for a touchdown or not. I don't.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
So,
it did. It did.
Yeah, 49, and then the other one was 69.
Yeah. So he had 2 runs of 49, a pass of 49, and a run of 69.
Yeah.
I think it's how it went.
The pass went for 49, and he got down to like the 2 or 3 yard
Yeah, he
line,
went out of
and then he
bounds.
passed it to him again on the next one, and he got the touchdown.
So establish the run early. All right, that's going to be a big key for me this weekend. Tomorrow, Thursday. Establish the run early. The Packers have been susceptible to physical rush attacks And this is where I think that Montgomery is probably going to get the early nod. You need to set up the run with Montgomery to allow Jahmyr Gibbs to then be that changeup, right? You bring in Demo, the sledgehammer, and you just pound it. And then you bring in the four-seam fastball with Jahmyr Gibbs, you change the pace. So Demo probably starts this game, gets it going, and then we need to attack the perimeter with motion, get into that play action. The pre-snap motion will create a lot of confusion. It'll help us identify the coverage. We need more pre-snap motion. And the reason why is when you start to come in motion and you're looking at what the linebacker is doing, is he going with you or is he not? Are they switching off? Well, you need to go in motion a little bit further outside the slot. So go from one end to the other. Who's carrying with you? That'll help you identify. Then send another guy in motion. Are they carrying or are they going to, pick it up on the other side? But when you can identify what the middle of a defense is doing, that's where Jared Goff can find those little keys, right, and use it against the defense. I hate to say it, but I don't think we used enough pre-snap motion in the last game. I don't have the exact percentages, and maybe perception is not reality. It just didn't seem like we were trying to confuse them enough. But if we get to attack the perimeter, then it happens with the play action. And this is where I didn't know this earlier, but one of Eric's bold takes of the day is going to be deep shots. When the Packers load the box to stop the run, and if Dan Campbell is mixing it up, this is where the deep shots come into play. So start with the run game with Demo. Get them going, right? Bring in Jahmyr to change the pace. Attack the perimeter using a lot of pre-snap motion. Get into a couple of play-action deep shots. And then you go tempo no huddle. So during that whole series that you're marching down the field, let's say you start at the 35. It's Demo, it's a pass on second down. It's Demo on third if you need it. And then you switch to a perimeter shot. And then you get back into play action and you fire a deep shot. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But if we don't test them early, if you don't put them on their heels, they're going to load the box. What we didn't see in the game against New York is really any deep shots. We haven't seen many deep shots in a long time. Dan Campbell has to get the Green Bay thinking that we're going to go deep. Because if we don't get them thinking that way, they're going to load us up and they're going to take it away. And then when you get into a knockdown, drag it out kind of fight, and you have to start pounding the rock and dinking and dunking it everywhere, the deep shot disappears. You can't use it at that point because you can't get into it. You can't get into a rhythm of plays that allows you to open up the deep shot. Look, to your point, Eric, I'd love to see him throw a deep shot on play one. It just doesn't fit my scheme for the week. I have plenty of takes and bold takes this week. I have reality takes more so this week. Mm-hmm. But for the Packers, how can the Packers exploit us? How can they attack our defense? Well, if Josh Jacobs is in, it's kind of the same thing. They need to establish the run, but they're not going to be able to. It's going to be tough to attack us on the ground. Nobody's really been able to do it in years. I think one team has gone over 100 yards with one back once, I think, in the last 3 seasons. They have to take deep shots. If for some reason Kirby Joseph is not in, and we have the Legion of Whom back there with Harper, Thomas Harper, that's what concerns me. That's where I think that Watson potentially has a big catch. If we're in single high. If we're in a zone scheme, that goes away. If we have a too high safety shell, that all goes away. You do give up something when you're in a too high safety shell, but if you do this 4-3 man under look that I love, it kind of negates everything. And it also takes care of the run game. They're going to want to use misdirection, I think, a lot in this play, because if there's one thing that I've noticed about our defense is that we suck against misdirection. If you notice, a lot of the plays that their running backs against us have success, it's on misdirection plays. I don't know why. We get fixated, apparently, on watching just one player instead of the ball. Quick game and RPOs can hurt us this weekend or this Thursday. We've done a really good job against it. It depends on what Calvin Shepard rolls out there. If he's going to roll a little bit of contained game here, I think that's the play. Not necessarily a spy. I don't think that we really need to spy Jordan Love. He doesn't try to run a ton, but if he does run, he can hurt you. I think a spy would be, I think it would be a waste. If anything, you spy the backs coming out of the backfield. You don't spy Jordan Love. I don't see that happening. But that's how I think that their offense can kind of get after our defense is if they can get their run game going and they use a lot of misdirection, that's how they're going to be able to set up their play pass and get into their deep shots down to Watson, which they've had plenty this year, and they've had some against us that and other teams have too. I mean, what New York just did, I'm sure the Packers are all about it. You know, what they saw New York do, they feel that they can do. We have to take that away. Single high safety, way too much. Let's get into the 5 bold takes. Let me find the old image here. Here we go. 5 bold takes on a Tuesday. It's Trench Day Tuesday, Eric. What do you got for 5 bold takes? And just spit all 5, and then I'll do mine. Here we go. Eric's got 5 bold takes. Eric has 5 bold takes on Tuesday for the Lions and Packers on Thanksgiving.
All right, 5 bold takes. I'm a little crazy.
Hold on. You gotta wait till I switch to you. Let's do that one more time. Right. Yeah, I gotta switch to you, buddy. Hold on. Eric has 5 bold takes. Lions and Packers for Thanksgiving.
All right, it's Packers week, so you know it's going to be crazy. You know it's going to be out there. I hate the Packers more than any team. I told you guys the very first episode I was on this show, the very first time, my favorite team is whoever's playing the Packers. My second favorite team is the Detroit Lions. That's how dedicated I am to my hatred of the Green Bay Packers. I hate them. FTP all day, every day. I don't care. I never want to see them win. I don't care if it helps us in the standings. I never ever root for the Packers. So starting out there, number 1, the Legion of whom? They're playing again this week, and they're going to intercept Jordan Love 2 times, not once, 2 times. And guess what? One is going to be a pick 6 on Jordan Love. I'm loving it. Number 2, the Packers defense against the rush averages 98 yards per game. Well, not this game. Jahmyr Gibbs will double that with 2 TDs, and on top of that, he's going to have 196 yards on the ground. So take that, Packer fans. Number 3, our hometown hero, Mr. Isaac Tesla. Well, the Lions' Isaac Tesla, he's just like me. And he hates the Green Bay Packers, and he has admitted so, and he's been very public about that is his favorite team to play against. So that being said, he wants revenge just as much as I do, and he will have his best career game on Sunday with 35 yards, 3 catches, and a nasty one-handed touchdown against the Green Bay Packers.
Everyone wants to be a dog until you got to do some dog shit.
Now, number 4, Mr. Aiden Hutchinson. Well, he's going to have 2 sacks on Jordan Love. And Micah Parsons, he's going to get a big old goose egg in the stat column this week. Number 5. I'm loving it. Number 5 is revenge. The Lions will win one way or another, and revenge will be had by the Lions for me for their week 1 loss. And for getting our butts kicked on Thanksgiving the last time we played these guys on Thanksgiving. So I don't care if it's by 1 point. I don't care if it's by 35 points. The Lions just need to win. So just win, baby. And my prediction for the Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving, I'm going to make this one a close one because last week I said 42-17 and it ended up being a really close game. Had to go to overtime to get it. So this week I'm going to predict a close game. Before the season started, let's see on my little sheet here, I had predicted 24-17 24-21 for this game. So I thought it was going to be a field goal game. Well, now I'm changing it up a little bit. I think this game is going to come down to the Detroit Lions 28, the Green Bay Packers 27. It's not sad though, man. It's happy times. See, I'm doing reverse psychology.
That's a sad music. That's a sad music for the Packers, man. That's a sad music for the Packers.
You got to throw that reverse psychology out there to Vegas right now, because did you see the end of that Browns Raiders game? Did you happen to catch it, Will? So you talk about having your rigged NFL video. You need to make a video about that last minute of the Raiders and the Browns game. The Browns with Shedeur Sanders got the ball to their own 29. Kick a field goal, right? With less than a minute to go. Fourth down, guess what they did?
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
With less than a minute to go, they didn't kick the field goal from the 29. They punted.
What?
Because it was 24-10 and the over-under was 38.5 or 37.5. And it would have put it over if they kicked that field goal. So all the people are thinking it's rigged because they didn't want the points to go over. They were at their own 29 and didn't kick a field goal. It's crazy. And there's all sorts of videos about it on the internet.
Oh my.
Yeah, you got to watch it, man. And it's like 58 seconds left.
I don't know how I missed that, but I forgot to talk about Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
I'll get to my 5 bold takes in 1 second. Let me touch on Shedeur for just a minute because
and
maybe I'll do this more tomorrow, but all I got to say is y'all hated on Shedeur Sanders, and you know who you are. A lot of you did. And I've been backing this dude since day one. And I know Eric has been a good backer of Shedeur Toure, just thinking that,
we made fun of him at the draft because of his.
Well, I didn't know. But
I did. I thought it was kind of funny, but I didn't think it was funny after the second or third round. I thought it was funny that he wasn't a first round pick, right? Because he thought he was going number 1.
Here's what I'm going to say. First pass, 66-yard touchdown for Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I will tell you definitively, there is less than 10 quarterbacks in the league that can make that throw. Less than 10. Maybe less than 7 that can make that throw. On the run, left to right, left to right, on the run, crossbody, dumping it right where it needed to go. Insane throw, getting him on the move. And here's what he did. He set the tone right away. He told the Raiders, look, go ahead, bring it. And I'm going to show you how these legs move. And then I'm going to show you what I can do on the run. His efficiency, of throws, they kind of varied a little bit. He was very productive behind the line of scrimmage. He completed 5 of 6 passes for 86 yards, including the touchdown to Dylan Sampson that turned into a simple check down into a 66-yard score. But his short area passing was a little bit more uneven. He was 4 of 6 for 32 yards, and he got his first interception. Welcome to the NFL. But his intermediate throws, they fell incomplete. So it was kind of boom or bust for him. First week of practice. How crazy is it that he has 1 week of practice and he goes in and does what he does, has the game that he did, and he shut everybody down. He gets a win. What was the final score in that game?
It was 24-10.
Yeah, 24. You just said it. But gets a win in his first game. And in my opinion, he gave this team light. They woke up with Shedeur behind center.
And we were saying for weeks.
They all played pretty well. And I wanted this guy in there from the jump. I don't know how they screwed this up, but here's what I'm going to say that the Browns did to their future. They effed it up. Because now, when I watch the videos after the fact and I'm listening to Shedeur talk, he's pissed. He's hurt, and he's rubbing it in a little bit. And I would too.
I like the chip on the shoulder, though.
Yeah, but I think he's taking shots at his own ownership and his coach,
fine.
you know, and I think, and he's not doing it from the perspective of mentioning them or saying anything towards them. He's doing it in a way of saying, "Oh, I only had 1 week of practice. Look, wait, give me a full season, see what happens." You know, and so he's shooting back at the coaches, and he's shooting back at saying, "Look, you guys buried me, and you tried to kill my career, and now I get in for my first game and I win by double digits. Team wins. Great defense. Imagine where this could have been for the Browns with this defense this year, had they had a competent quarterback."
Yep.
I do not want to see Dylan Gabriel back behind quarterback for the Browns, even if he gets healthy. Well, I think he's battling concussion or something.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you this right now. Shedeur Sanders is the first Browns rookie quarterback to win his debut in his first full game since 1980.
That's crazy. That's just nuts.
Yep. And how many quarterbacks have they went through?
Is this like their fifth this year?
Yeah. Yeah. He was number 5 on the depth chart all the way through training camp, all the way into the season. And then they start trading away quarterbacks and cutting people and people getting hurt. And he didn't take a first team rep
until last week.
Until the very first week that he's going to play.
Well,
that's nuts.
Here's, I just saw someone said in the chat, who was it? He played the Raiders. The Raiders are a top 12 defense in this league. They're not a bad defense. And so going up against Max Crosby, that's a headache. Absolutely not a great team as far as offensively, but see, Shedeur's not beating the offense. Shedeur's beating the defense. And he had to put up points to win, and they did. Again, I don't care if they win by 1 point. But you have this defense, the Cleveland Browns defense, which is number 2 in the league. According to ESPN stats, they're number 2. You have them all season long with Shedeur behind center. This is a different season for them. They're at least 500 right now. At least.
With Myles Garrett on that tear that he's on.
Yeah,
he's going to break the sack record this year.
He's
not just going to break it of 23. It's going to be 30 or 35 sacks.
It could be. I don't think it'll be that much, but it could be. It could be.
I'm telling you, man. He's having games with 5 sacks, 3 sacks, 3 sacks, 4 sacks. Just nuts.
It is nutty. All right, let me get into my 5 bold takes here. Oh, man, I don't know if y'all are ready for this. All right, 5 bold takes. Lions and Packers on Thanksgiving, man. A game that I was not expected to go to, but thankfully I am. We'll do the mission another day. Tomorrow, actually. And I'm excited to go because my son's coming up. My other son couldn't make it. So I'm really excited to be able to get to go to the game. A game that I didn't really want to go to. I wanted to be home, but I'm going. And we're going to go get a win. These are more reality takes today. I'm not going to go crazy off the edge, but maybe my reality is not. Maybe it's not within the perception of what this game should be. So my 5 bold takes for the Lions and the Packers are this. Number 1, I'm going to start with Jared Goff because he needs a game. Jared Goff needs a bounce back game. He had a good game last week. I think that he did enough to win. I think he played incredibly well underneath the pressure that he was under. But Jared Goff, I think, has the potential to throw for over 300 yards in this game with a 73% completion rate, tossing 3 touchdowns, which means we may or may not have to lean on the running game for all of the scoring. Goff owns a single season franchise record for completion percentage in 2024 and is currently completing about 70% of his passes right now. With the Packers ranking defensively 7th in total defense, in 5th in scoring defense. I think that he's going to get after it. Even though they're a good defense, I think that Jared Goff's going to get after it. So my first bold take, Jared Goff, 300 plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns versus the Green Bay Packers. Number 2. Well, I can't go far without talking about Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery in this run game. Last week, he exploded. He had 3 extreme explosive runs and an explosive pass. Without Jahmyr Gibbs versus the New York Giants, the Lions do not win that game. Does he double down and double back against the Packers? I think so. Even though Jared Goff is going to toss 3 TDs and possibly put up more than 300 yards, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to explode this week for 125 plus on the ground and another 50 through the air. 1 touchdown, though, on the day. Number 3. Last week, I'm doubling down again. I said that Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to have to be the catalyst that drove the offense on 3rd downs, and he was going to have to come up big with 9 receptions. Well, 9 receptions he did have, and over 140 yards for Amon-Ra St. Brown last week. This week, well, you know how much he hates the Packers. Green Bay sucks, according to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to do better than what he did last week. 11 catches, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns for Amon-Ra St. Brown this week, dominating the slot. St. Brown leads the Lions with 75 plus receptions this season, over 800 yards and 9 touchdowns. He's averaging 11.8 yards per reception. St. Brown has 48 receptions for 379 yards in recent games. I think that he's going to exploit the slot coverage against the Packers this week, and he's going to have a great game. Some of my stats may be a little bit off based on when I was putting this together. Number 4. It's kind of a combination effect of the run game. I kind of let David Montgomery slide in that second projection, but my 4th bold take for the Lions and Packers on Thanksgiving, Demo. Doesn't have to do a bunch, but he has to do enough in this game. And I think that he's going to toss in an extra 60-plus yards on the ground and a TD. And then there's number 5. This one's not an exciting one, but it is one that we need. And that is our 3rd down efficiency, which has escaped this team this entire season. What used to be a strength hasn't been a strength of this team this year. The Lions are going to go 60% or better on 3rd down against the Packers. They're going to control the time of possession for 34 minutes. So a little bit of a weird one, but it's one that we need to win the game. 60+% on 3rd down, 34 minutes of time of possession. Your Lions are going to win. Eric, what was your score prediction?
Mine was 28-27. And I'm going to tell you how we get to 28.
Okay.
We're going to be down 25-27 because we do some weird 2-point conversion stuff to get there, right?
Say that again.
Because it's going to be a score where it's 24. The Packers, they kick a field goal to go to 27, and the Detroit Lions, well, they score 2 on a late touchdown. So instead of going to 24, they go to 25 points. They get the ball back and they kick a field goal at the last second, just like they did the last time they beat the Packers. And Jake Bates hits a long one and makes it 28-27 Detroit. We win by 1 on a late second field goal from Jake Bates.
So I've got a couple of questions. And I think I have a 6th bonus take here that if I were to run through this whole game, what's the over under right now?
It's right here.
Or with a spread.
Yeah. Let's see. So the over under is 2.5 points. It went from 3.5 down to 2.5. And now the over under is 48.5. And yes, it's for the Lions right now. So the Green Bay Packers. Yep. 48.5 points So I think we get just over that. I do think this is going to be a gritty, grimy, not super high scoring game. I just don't think it's going to be. I think this is going to be a friggin' slobber knocker this weekend. It's going to be a very close game. And this is going to be what I call a heart attack game, just like that last one. We might not be in the lead the whole game. So a non-heart attack game is when the Lions get the lead right off the bat, first drive of the game, we go down, we score, we have the lead, and we have the lead the whole game. Never have to look back. We're 2 scores up, 3 scores up the whole entire game. Get to halftime. We're not worrying about nothing. Those are the good games.
I see your bet.
Heart attack game, man. We're gonna have a few of those for the rest of the year. I'm sorry, but this is like being a Lions fan from 10 years ago. Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go.
I'm gonna see your bet there. I'm gonna raise it. Okay, I'm gonna go super deep on something. I prepared this, and it's probably stupid. First quarter, this is how I see it going. Lions 7-3. I think that tough defensive measure in the first quarters is absolutely going to happen. They're going to have to weigh each other out, and they're going to go blow for blow, and it'll be 7-3 Lions. And that'll be a David Montgomery 2-yard run. That's where I'm going. It's going to be David Montgomery. Like I said, doesn't have to do much, just has to do enough. 60 yards on the ground, 1 TD on the day, and it's going to be a 2-yard push the line of scrimmage forward, and he gets us on the board. Second quarter. I believe here this is where that heart attack starts to creep in. I think Jared Goff here is going to connect with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going to go 15-yard TD. And then Jordan Love is probably going to back that up with a touchdown of his own. 28-yard TD. We're going to go Jaden Reed. That field goal you're talking about, I think that's what ends the second quarter. Lions are going to be up 17-14 going into the half. Coming out of the third quarter, into the third quarter, Jahmyr Gibbs, this is where he's going to break a nice 45-yard TD run. Then, if Josh Jacobs is in, I think that's where the Packers are going to work their way all the way down. It's going to be a long drive, and he's going to punch one in from 3 yards out. Both defenses start to really tighten up into this third quarter. It's 24-21 Lions, end of the third. Fourth quarter. Goff throws his third TD pass to St. Brown. I'm sorry, third TD pass this time to St. Brown on a 12-yard slant or something. Green Bay ends up with a field goal, but they can't get the ball back. So they get all the way down, and they're thinking, field goal, touchdown, what do we do? Plenty of time left on the clock, maybe 4 minutes. They kick a field goal thinking they're going to get another opportunity. They don't. Detroit gets the ball back. We run it down their throat the rest of the way, all the way down the field, and the Lions are able to run out the clock. 31-24 Lions. That's my call. So I'm taking the over. Lions cover the spread as they do, 8 to 10 times?
Yeah.
Eight. What? How many times did they cover the spread? 8 of 20 or 8 and 12?
Following a loss,
8 and 12.
They were undefeated covering the spread until this last game. This last game destroyed the spread.
So that's my quarter by quarter breakdown. I'm going to put all this into the sheet. As far as stats for Jared Goff, though, here's my question. Question 1. Will Jared Goff have to put up the ball more than 30 times?
I hope not. I really didn't like that against the Giants. I don't know how he had to throw it that many times with the way our run game was working. I just don't know how he had to throw it that many times. It's very
well, okay, so back to that. Our run game really wasn't working. It just looked like it did when you look at the stats.
Yeah.
Because he had the 3 big runs. So it's that big misconception that if you look at the overall stat line, you're like, holy cow, man, the Lions ran it down their throat all day. That's what you think. But then if you go look at the play-by-play, you're like, wait a second. 3 plays? Did all of that. 3 plays, 167 yards? That's the big misconception that stats can give you unless you look deeper. Okay, so over or under 30 attempts for Jared Goff. The poll says yes so far at 62%. And I'm going to say no. I'm going to go 29 attempts. Right to the edge. I'm going 29 attempts. But I did say, 73%? Let me see if that number even works.
I'm going to say yes, he does go over 30 times. I'm going to say right around 35. And you have to remember, anytime that Goff goes over 30, that's when you got to start looking at possible interceptions. And his last 2 interceptions were not his fault. The ball went perfectly into the receiver's hands, and then the receiver bounced it up in the air, and a defensive back catches it.
Yeah,
so I don't put those on Goff the last 2. But anytime you ask him to throw 40, 50 times in a game, he always throws at least 1 interception.
So I'm going to go Goff 21 of 29. I'm going to have to modify my take a little bit. So that's 72.4% completion rate. I said 73. It's close. Jahmyr Gibbs. I had a $125 for Gibbs. $125 plus potential. And I had a 45-yard TD run. How many carries for Gibbs is the question. And I'm going to go 3 more than last week. I'm going to go 18 carries. No, I'm going to go 17 carries. I'm going to go 17 carries for Gibbs. And then we got Monty. I got 60 yards plus for Monty. 1 TD with 2-yard punch. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let me go back to where it are. The bottom line in this, Eric, is look, my takes are more rooted in statistical performance, right? The realities surrounding the injury reports, the matchup advantages. The Lions offense has to be firing on all cylinders for a lot of this stuff to happen. I think that Goff is playing at a pretty good level, even though he's getting too much pressure. And I think the Packers defense, I think they're still going to give us some trouble. I just don't think it's going to be enough trouble. I'm hoping that the way I outline this game is not right. But I think if it's a knockdown, drag it out kind of a fight, that this is what we're going to see.
So what's your score prediction then?
It was 31-24.
31-24.
I'm sorry. 31-24.
Okay. All right. I got a couple of little tidbits that I just had pop up. All right. So pressures and sacks. We're gonna go over something real quick. The top 10 teams, the 10 teams that are in the top of sacks, their win percentage is 0.579. The top teams in pressure win percentage are 706. So 0.579 for sacks, and pressures, it's 0.706. The Detroit Lions rank 8th in sacks and 9th in pressures. Now, I got one more here.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So, top 10 in sacks and top 10 in pressures. Oh, I lost it. Where did it go? It went away. Unless I saved it here. Well, unless I saved it here. Oh yeah, I got it right here. So the top 10 teams in sack percentage, their winning percentage is 0.579. So their teams win 0.579% of their games.
Mm-hmm. So 6 out of 10 games.
Yep. So the teams with the top 10 pressure rate, they win at a clip of 0.706. So almost 3/4 of their games. And the Lions are 8th in sacks and 9th in pressure. And then I got a couple little So talking about pressure and how quickly the pressure gets there. Jared Goff, Jacoby Brissett, and Patrick Mahomes have the 32nd, 33rd, and 34th ranked pocket times in the NFL this season, all at 2 or less seconds, which is below the league average. And then the Lions' worst games this year for time to pressure the quarterback. Number 1 was against the Chiefs and Mahomes he had 3.44 seconds in that game. The Packers, week 1 with Jordan Love, had 3.4 seconds to get there. We cannot do that again. We have to get after Love, and we have to give Goff time to throw the ball. Those are probably my 2 biggest keys to the game right there. Give Goff time and don't give Love time. And that's how we're going to win this game.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good plan for every game. I mean, you always want to limit what the other quarterback can do, and obviously you want to give your quarterback as much time as possible. So my score prediction doesn't necessarily line up with my takes. They're kind of a little bit different, even though I try to root it in as much reality as possible. The only thing that doesn't really line up is I have Goff with 3 TDs, Gibbs with a 45 TD run, Monty with a 2-yard punch, Mon-Ra with 2 TDs. So that would put us at 38-24. And I'm not going to take a TD away from Goff, which is fine. Our bold takes aren't supposed to line up to anything. They're just bold takes.
Yeah.
But I try to do it in reality, but apparently I screwed up on adding things up together. And I don't want to take a TD away from anyone because I think that all those guys. Notice how I didn't put J-Mo in the equation here. And I don't know if you did either, did you?
No, but I do think that J-Mo does, like I said, on the very first play of the game, I think we let it rip. We're going to do to them what they did to us. We're going to do it to them. I think that the Packers are going to win the coin toss. Lions, they're going to defer to the second. Well, the Packers are going to defer to the second half. Lions are going to be on offense first. And the first thing they're going to do, Jared Goff's going to drop back and let her rip tater chip. I'm telling you, we're going to do it just like they did to us. We're going to get that early lead, and we're not going to look back. I'm kind of going against what I said in my 5 bold takes, but that's okay. That's just my hatred, revenge, want to get it done.
All right, so here's the bonus. We got to put some defense on the board here. Man, I would love to see Marcus Davenport get into this game and at least get a few snaps, 10, 15, whatever it is. If he's on a rotation with AQM, I think that would be great. I'm hoping that Kirby's up for this game. I'm hoping that Terry and Arnold's up for this game. We need all these guys to get in, right, and start to get healthy. At the end of the day, I don't think that you want to sacrifice players just to have them in the game, right? I think that you want your best guys up. You want the guys that are ready. So if some of those guys don't get in, it is what it is. Hopefully they're in. But defensively, I'm going to say this for the Lions defense. And this is going to be a more of a longer take. And so my bonus take for the Lions and the Packers, right? Let me give it to you so I can actually cut it all up. Here we go. I got one bonus take for the Lions and Packers on Thanksgiving, and this is strictly defense. I think that the Lions defense, whether the Packers scored 24 points in this game or not, like the other part of my wild takes today, I will say this. I think that our Lions defense is going to give the Packers a lot of trouble. They're going to shut down the run completely, and I'm going to give the Packers 80 yards of rushing on the day, all in. All players, all in. And it could be less than that. But I'm going to go the Packers do not put more than 80 yards of rushing on the ground. As far as Jordan Love goes, Jordan may sling the ball a little bit. He may put up north of 275 yards in this game. But what he will do definitively is he will throw 2 picks. And that is my bonus take for the Lions and Packers on Thanksgiving. All right.
I like that we can agree on that because I had Jordan Love with 2 picks and one of them to the Legion of Whom for a pick 6.
Oh, you had a pick 6 in there too?
Yeah.
So I got 80 yards or less rushing, all in, and I'm gonna go JL the 2 INTs.
Nice.
I mean, that's how you have to win this game. Like that to me is a key. Is you have to come up with a turnover. You know, last week I said that the Giants were going to cough one up. I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago I said that the Eagles were going to cough one up, and they did. They put it on the ground, but they ended up picking it back up. This week we've got to come away with it. Whether it's a knockout, whether it's an interception, I don't care if we score. It'd be great if we did. You have to get the ball back, man. You have to give your offense at least one more possession than the other team. In a game like this where it could be close, in my article that I'll probably get done today, you know, you will see different takes in there. There'll be some other things. I'll add this in it. But I'm going to put in 2 score predictions every week, I think, from here on out. And that's because I think the game can always go 2 ways. And those 2 ways played out this week. It really did against the Giants, man. All right, what do you want to end with today?
It's Packer week. I love it. This is my favorite game of the year. So for 30-something years, this was my Super Bowl, right? Week 1 was the Packers Super Bowl. Thanksgiving this year, well, this is my Super Bowl. Let's put all our chips on the table. Hopefully, what the Lions were doing is they were kind of holding back in that Giants game because they just wanted to win the game, but they really didn't think that the Giants were going to come out and do what they did. They were trying to hold back a little bit so they can be reserved and take it into the Packer game because they know this one's coming right on the heels of that last game. So hopefully they pull out all the tricks, every trick in the bag. I don't care. Every trick play you can think of. I hope they put a few out there for the Green Bay Packers because I know how much Matty LaFleur does not like those trick plays. I want to see him saying F you, Dan Campbell, on the sidelines once again.
I don't understand this Brian Brady.
Oh, yeah, he's been on the chat all day saying stupid stuff.
I mean, he used to be supportive, so maybe it's a fake name. Maybe it's a fake Brian Brady. I don't know.
That they can't dominate. I'm not saying they can't dominate.
That is domination.
They could come out and win this game 52-0. They could.
All right,
but I'm not going to go out and say that because every week I say that the Lions are going to win by a big margin. They almost get their butt kicked or they do get their butt kicked. So I'm not doing that anymore. I'm being a little more reserved in my fandom. I really do want to see them kick their butt 52-0. I would love nothing more than that, but I'm trying to be kind of realistic about it. I think it's going to be a close game.
So the thing is, I mean, bold takes are bold takes, right? And maybe we add reality takes. Like I did mine more rooted in reality today because that's just how I operate. I do a lot of my things from reality. I mean, last week it was mostly reality, but I was expecting Jahmyr Gibbs to have a great game based on the defense. Like the defense for the Giants, they had a terrible run defense. Again, if I said the defensive line woke up, they were going to give us fits, and they did. Those were reality takes based on statistical analysis and research and watching a little bit of tape and what they can do when they actually gel. For this Packers game, we got a totally different Packers team coming into this game and a totally different Lions game coming into this game, and a head coach calling plays now for his 3rd game. Right? 4th game. His 4th game.
Yeah.
You just don't know what it is that they're going